Kiss me underneath the mistletoe. Show me, baby, that you love me so. Oh, 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 oh. Kiss me underneath the mistletoe. Show me, baby, that you love me so. Oh, 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 oh. With you, shawty, with you, with you, shawty, with you, under the mistletoe.
KUAM-FM Hagaya, Guam. You're listening to The Link with Chris and Sabrina on Breeze 93.9.
Così uli di sombranza temak e zuita saluda antes di niga radzaudzan malak estrezas durante todo el memu a nogi distancia como kupugi palu zangiman malak guafi ikonum nasugi airi Peba tu la noci nai banderata gaigi pues atan fanny bandera kau esta pagua pumalalapa gilo tanu man libri sentami ti man ko badi.
Let's have a good time. Happy holidays, we hope you have a great time. Let's celebrate these good times, memories of a lifetime. Hear the bells jingle, it's Christmas time on the islands. The season's far from silent, everybody's smiling. Take a look around the island, mistletoes and jelly rolls, eggnog and alcohol. Let's have a good time, just don't get out of line. Sip some wine with some family and friends. Next year, same plan, we're gonna do it again. Merry Christmas to you. Let's have a good time, let's have a good time. Merry Christmas to you. Let's have a good time, let's have a good time. Merry Christmas to you. Let's have a good time.
Let's have a good time. We have to, because we are 3 days away from Christmas Day. Good morning, Guam. Another day, another show. It's a Tuesday, a beautiful Tuesday here on Guam. 6:10 is the time, and we're back with another one. Remember this show, The Link, being brought to you by Cowboy Enterprises and IT&E. And we're back with your host, the one and only Sabrina Salas Matinati in the Zoom room. We got Andy Wheeler here in studio as well. We have Jason Salas and Joe Sir, myself, Victorious, filling in for Chris Malafunction Barnett. For the show here, second week in. Man, a jam-packed show today. Well, we will get to the guests coming up in just a little bit, but just got to say good morning and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas. Have you finished your Christmas shopping?
Oh, getting there. I mean, you know, you can still give Christmas presents after the 25th, right? Is
That's
that
right. You can.
so? I don't know.
What
Still
about
working
you?
on it.
Andy, what about you?
I like shopping under pressure, so I like that last minute rush. It's just like my school career where I cram for a final or a test like the night before. So
Yeah.
I don't know why I do that to myself every year, but here we are again.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Same. Like waiting
But
for the
this year
last
is
minute.
weird, you know. Usually I would plan a day and just go to the mall or something by myself and just hit all the stores I could think of and do my shopping. But, you know, because I'm not going out, I'm not getting in contact with anybody. I just can't do that this year. So, yeah, you know, I've ordered a few things online, had them shipped here to work, but yeah, I do miss the actually going out and shopping. That's the only time of the year that I like actually going to the store to shop. So it sucks that we can't do that this year, myself at least. But, you know, everybody that was going to get a gift from me understands anyway. You know, this year is a little bit different. My wife and I, we actually already opened 2 of our Christmas presents because we're like, whatever, it's 2020, just go ahead. There are no rules this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just a different year. People got to understand that it's just not like it was.
Right. What about you, Jace?
Not even doing presents this year.
Okay. Joe?
Full stop. Just not
There you go.
even
Yeah,
just not
moving
even
on.
doing it.
And dude, I totally get that, man. Not only for me going out to shop, you know, just the economic reasons for so much of the island. I mean, you know, I know there was the stimulus, but people are just trying to stay afloat. So it's not like there's that extra money floating around. So I get it, man. You know, let's start a
lot of people in the
tradition
community
where-
don't even have a choice this year. They're just like, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
I
true.
mean, some people would have it really, really hard under normal conditions. Some people said, you know, we can't even do socks. You know, we can't even go to the gas station and get like those little, you know, plastic trucks and everything like that because it's too tough this year. So, but
Yeah. My son's easy. He's just like, Mom, I want money for apps.
yeah.
Whatever that Roblox
super
thingy, I
easy.
don't know.
Meanwhile, for those of you who are still in line for a PlayStation 5, you know, this is a test of your patience for sure.
Please, that line is
Those are not
super
easy
long.
to get.
PlayStation 5?
PS5.
I mean, what is the deal with that? Because that's all I hear about is this PlayStation 5.
All I see is
Okay,
memes.
Well,
chat
you know,
room,
the
can you
newest
please
generation
educate
of
Sabrina in what is up
consoles,
with the PS5? Actually, we have our resident game expert here. So, Andy, can you school Sabrina on what makes the PS5 for many people like a religious experience?
Well, it's just, you know, the latest generation of gaming, new, better processors, you know, better graphics for the games and all that. And the companies are doing the cross-platform now. So you could be able to play if you have a PS5 with someone that's on Xbox or PC. So, Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to it, but this is the first generation of game consoles since the early 80s that I'm just not that excited about. I just am not rushing out to get one, so I'm happy with what I got now. I feel like I'm getting old. That can't be right.
If this
can't be
PS5 doesn't
right.
give me a beer or a hamburger, I really don't care.
But you know what?
Like,
you
what
could get
is the deal?
okay. You could get Disney Plus on the PS5. I mean, technically, it still doesn't work for us out here because thanks so much, Disney, not including us. But there are people on the island who have found a way. People can use a VPN. People could use a little bit more, let's just say, creative way of getting Disney Plus content, which means that you could actually watch The Mandalorian. I have not. And I don't want to spoil it for Andy because he's like the biggest Star Wars fan here. But Bree, did you finally watch the last episode of
Oh, yes, I sure did.
Speaking of
I
religious
need to watch it, Bree. Don't
Okay,
spoil
I
it.
will.
I have not watched any of this season. If you spoil it, I will.
Everybody is saying the last episode of Mandalorian is epic.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, so
Okay.
don't
Oh,
make me
okay.
end and leave
Okay.
this meeting right now.
Well, tell you what, and chat room, please don't ruin it for Andy because he is I mean, if you guys follow Andy on social media, and we highly encourage that you do, he's a massive, massive Star Wars fan. He goes deep too, so I mean, he is
All out.
Yeah, he is all about Star Wars. He knows a lot too, so don't ruin it for him. But if you watch the last episode of The Mandalorian, at least give us like maybe a thumbs up in our comment stream because I also want to say people from across the map are sending us their holiday hoffa-days, so thanks everybody from that. Rita Horton saying, Merry Christmas from the Big Apple, New York City.
Wow,
New
all
York.
the way out there.
Hey! New York is giving us holiday love. Hey! I mean, what am I? A jackass? Come on, it's Christmas. Come on, let's go. 5 boroughs. I've been to New York once, and I love it. I went to New York with Sabrina and everything. It was best trip ever. I love New York City. Okay. Also, of course, we always get holiday love from Vegas, and Lucia Paredo is saying, good morning, Guam. Merry Christmas from us here in Sin City. The other Sin City also joining us, our friends up in Sinanya, up on the cliff. Half a day to all of you guys. Someone who everybody appreciates if you guys are friends of Batman. I know I'm more of a Marvel guy than DC, but George Freeze, Mr. Freeze, we call him. Mr. Freeze. Arnold Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze, all right, in the movie, but George Freeze is maybe having the sentiment of the day, just saying, with his smile emoji, saying, guys, go for it. Hey, I like that. As long as you're staying 6 feet apart, wearing your mask, washing your hands, go for it.
Do it.
Nice. Okay, where else have we got? Okay, Texas is checking. Okay, Gigo's checking in. Josh Ryan, Santos Castro, half a day to you. Chamarita Regis down in Sinahanya is saying, here comes the sun. And yeah, okay, Joser went outside and got his normal, to start off the show, he got his outside shot. It is dark outside. I hope you guys saw at least something. There was maybe a silhouette of a coconut tree, because, I mean, at what month does the sun start to come up at like 6 a.m. again, guys? Because it's still dark outside. What, like around February, March, you think?
I don't know. Maybe that's a question for Brandon or Landon.
I'll have to
The
consult
twins.
my almanac, Jason.
Okay, well, Andy, as the unofficial triplet of the Aidlet family, what do you think? Maybe around like
Yeah.
February, we're going to start to see the sun around 6 a.m.?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to consult my almanac, but
Right on. Okay. Killeen, Texas always shows us love, and we so appreciate it. Annie Bonds, who is joining us every morning as we do from Fort Hood, the big base out there. And you guys know the significance of Fort Hood, right? Because that is the base that typically when the soldiers are coming back, typically in recent history from the Middle East, when they're on deployment, they go there for their debriefing. So, and there's a lot of Guamanians, not just Chamorros, but Filipinos, Palauans, everybody who decides to serve in the U.S. military. There's a lot of Guamanians in Fort Hood, and they have epic parties, from what I understand. That's awesome.
Somebody's
Yay.
asking about the Star of Bethlehem. Did you guys see the Star of Bethlehem? It was like every 800 years or something.
Oh wait, is that thing that?
yeah,
they
we
said
saw
that
it
was like
last night.
That was last night.
We popped out to take a look at it. Yeah, Saturn and Jupiter lined up. It was a little cloudy, so it wasn't in all its glory, but pretty cool just to see something like that.
What time is
Went
that?
out, looked like, oh, that's cool. And you could apparently, if it was clear enough, and you had maybe a little telescope or something, you could see the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. So that's pretty cool.
What time is that?
Was it like a 7:20 between?
Yeah, we went out like 7 o'clock.
Wait, Joseph was just saying, is
I
that
was
the same
asleep.
thing as like when Saturn and Jupiter like lined up? Is that the same
Yeah.
thing?
Mhm.
That's what Andy was just saying.
No, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, as long as Uranus isn't lining up, then that's fine.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
That's gonna be that kind of morning.
All right, let's just get to the news then. All right.
All right.
Yeah, Jason's feeling a little frisky today.
I know. He's been throwing out all kinds of nonsense. All right, everybody.
That's why they call it astrology.
Good thing. Thank you for the maracas.
Yes.
Wait, is
There you go. That's how you
That's how you drown
silence
'em out.
Jason.
wait, have we? Did you guys just create a thing? Every time I make a stupid joke, you guys shake the maracas. There's gonna be a lot of that.
Wait.
Hey. Oh wait, that's the universal symbol for Jason. Shut up. That's not cool.
All right, let's get to the news. The Joint Information Center last night confirming Guam's 120th COVID-19 related fatality. The patient was an 80-year-old man with underlying conditions. He was admitted to GMH on November 11th, tested positive that same day. He passed away on December 20th. Also last night, the JIC reports 9 out of 597 tests performed tested positive for COVID-19. Of the new cases, 4 were identified through contact tracing. 1 case reported recent travel history and was identified in quarantine. This brings Guam's current COVID case count since March to 7,211 people infected with COVID, 431 active cases, and more than 6,600 recoveries. 25 people are currently hospitalized with the virus, with 7 under ICU level of care and 5 on ventilators. Guam's CAR score is now 1.2. From 9 a.m. to 3 o'clock today, Public Health will continue Phase 1A vaccinations at Ukadu High School. The following individuals not affiliated with GMH or GRMC are encouraged to get vaccinated. They include physicians, pharmacists, dentists, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, registered and other nurses, paramedics, emergency medical or laboratory technicians, and ambulance and emergency medical workers. Meanwhile, Public Health received confirmation from Pfizer that concerns over a shipment of vaccines that arrived over the weekend is cleared for use. As reported, one of the 2 packages that arrived on Saturday did not have the proper green color on the GPS-enabled thermal sensor to signal that the package was in acceptable condition. Public Health was informed that Pfizer-BioNTech retrieved and reviewed the data from the GPS-enabled thermal sensor on this second package containing 3,900 doses of vaccines and confirmed its viability. To date, Public Health has received a total of 11,700 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccines, completing its allocation for the month of December. The 11,700 doses will fully immunize 5,850 people. Meanwhile, the first doses of the Moderna vaccine could be given out today. They began shipping yesterday. The literal shot in the arm comes as the U.S. reports another 200,000 new COVID infections Sunday and more than 2,600 deaths. Elise Preston reports.
Nearly 6 million doses of the Moderna vaccine are now on their way to destinations across the country after leaving a distribution center Sunday.
I was very honored to be asked.
UPS driver Todd Elbel's 78-year-old father died from the coronavirus in November. He's now among those delivering the second authorized vaccine.
This has been my most important load that I've hauled. I feel Dad was in the truck with me today.
Operation Warp Speed, the federal government's vaccine program, says between Moderna and Pfizer, it should have 20 million doses available by the end of this month, about half of its previous estimates.
So far, more than 270,000 Americans, mostly hospital workers and some nursing home patients, have received the first of the 2 Pfizer doses. And now the CDC is looking ahead to the next round of vaccinations.
A CDC advisory panel voted Sunday that the next groups to get the vaccines should be people 75 and older and essential workers, including teachers, first responders, and grocery store workers. Coronavirus cases continue to surge nationwide. Cases in Tennessee are up more than 14% in the last week.
There's no question that there will be people alive next holiday season if they do the things that we need to do this holiday season.
But many Americans are not heeding CDC guidance to stay home to avoid spreading the virus this Christmas. The TSA says more than 1 million people have passed through airport checkpoints in each of the past 3 days. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
More news. Here is Tyler Mezzanani.
Hafa-day, good morning everyone. I'm Tyler Mazzanani with your headlines here on The Link. Spirits are at an all-time low for local bar owners this Christmas. If they could have one wish, it's to open and serve. However, they tell KUAM that at this rate, it's going to take a miracle.
There's been peaceful protest.
We need to work. We're asking for our right to work. We've been closed for 273 days. It's outrageous. We believe it's discriminatory.
There's been pleas to the governor.
We need our leaders to come down here. We need our leaders to include us.
There's been a class action lawsuit filed against the government in district court.
Justice needs to be taken here, and it really is our last hope.
There's been lifts and restrictions by Gov Guam, but still no hope for local bar owners.
What about us?
This is the question business owner of Live House and Shady Lady, Tom Pinehoff, has been asking since the start of the pandemic. Pinehoff has lived on Guam for 7 years. After the first year of calling the island home, he decided to make it a long-term investment.
Which was a decision because of the love for the island and the people that we like and work with.
After being deemed a non-essential, Pinehoff and all bar owners' doors remain closed since March under the government of Guam's executive orders. Recently, due to low infection rates, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero eased restrictions. However, bars did not make the cut. Pinehoff says he feels forced by the government of Guam to say goodbye to his home.
The options are on the table. Possibly moving out of Guam is for me.
Also sharing the feeling of being victimized by the government, Jeff Pleadwell, owner of Jeff's Pirate Cove in Epan, has been open for 41 years, yet he never had to close his doors. Restaurant owners were able to stay open curbside during the lockdown orders, and now may operate with outdoor seating at 50% capacity. Although just like all businesses, Jeff's Pirate Cove took a financial hit. He says business dropped down 19% and he lost 2/3 of his employees.
I have been broke many different times. I've been through many situations here on Guam. I have learned that the government is the biggest enemy of the business people, and I protect myself. I protect myself from the dirty water, from the dirty power, and from the dirty politics.
Jeff says he will never close his cove and will never go down to the government.
People need to get up and they need to talk and they need to complain. Guam is such a sedate community. Me, Regina, Tom, the people here, we care. And people back us up. They tell us outside. But most people are afraid to come out and talk. That is wrong, I'm from Massachusetts, Quincy, Mass. You fight for your rights. You don't ever go down to the government.
Speaking out for bar owners is member of the Dolls band, Rachel Esteves.
I didn't think it was going to go on this long, and the tables were turned where, I was sitting kind of comfortable, and right now, they're struggling. You have to think about the fact that, these are people suffering too. These bar owners, they're not getting PUA.
Esteves says the bar scene and music scene are tied together, and if bar owners close down for good, then she fears this means the end to another industry.
A lot of these bar owners also, they're an important part of the music industry. They're an important part of the culture. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have become the musician I was today if it wasn't for a bar owner like Regina, who's helped me out so much. Or even Tom, when he first moved to Guam and he bought Live House, he believed in us. They believe in us musicians.
And while bar owners believed there would be suitable local assistance, they say GITA and rent relief has been mediocre and minor. Pinehoff tells KUAM the commercial rent for both his bars is roughly $10,000 monthly, including power. With savings dwindling down and tireless pleas for help, he shares this final message to Governor Lou Leon Guerrero.
It's very sad to see that after 10 months of pandemic, you haven't made your way down to Tumon yet. You haven't reached out to any of us small business people. I'm very disappointed. We were here for you when it's about election time, and we've been totally left alone, and we won't forget.
There's been no word on when bars will be allowed to operate in the foreseeable future. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
A performance audit on procurement training by the Office of Public Accountability shows some mixed compliance by GovGuam departments. Agency heads and procurement staff are supposed to complete a 4-module program administered by GCC on how to properly procure goods and services for their departments. An OPA audit released today shows many of them have yet to do so.
It's no secret that GovGuam has had more than its fair share of procurement protests and challenges over the years, and the GCC training is meant to curb those cases. The OPA has released a follow-up to an initial report in April 2019 to see who has complied a year and a half later, as of September 2020. It found that an additional 201 GovGuam employees completed Module 1, but only 31 have obtained Module 2, 27 for Module 3, and 31 for Module 4. Overall, 575 have completed Module 1, 228 for Module 2, 201 for Module 3, and 204 for Module 4. Just 17 of the 56 newly appointed directors and administrators obtained Module 1 certification, and only GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez has received certification in all 4 modules. The OPA says no agency head may act as the responsible head of procurement without receiving training in Module 3 or 4. However, the OPA also points out that most line agencies' procurement goes through the General Services Agency. Still, the OPA recommends that all line and autonomous agency heads and their teams get the required training and certification. In a statement, Public Auditor B.J. Cruz said, it, quote, continues to be important in ensuring employees are knowledgeable of the Guam procurement law to effectively and efficiently perform the agency procurement functions. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
That's the news for now. We'll see you all at 6 tonight on Primetime.
It took 9 months to iron out, but House and Senate lawmakers have finally reached a deal to provide much-needed economic relief to millions of Americans. The deal contains another round of stimulus checks for Americans who make less than $75,000 a year. The payments will be $600 for every adult and dependent, meaning a family of 4 will get $2,400. The plan also includes $300 in weekly federal unemployment benefits, but just for the next 2.5 months. The COVID relief deal also includes $25 billion in direct rental assistance and extends the eviction moratorium until January 31st, the same day the moratorium on student loan payments ends. Funding for other programs included $82 billion for education funding, $45 billion for public transit systems, and $13 billion for increased food stamps and child nutrition benefits. There were also benefits for small business owners, including $12 billion for minority-owned or very small business, plus $15 billion for the theater operators and small venue owners through Save Our Stages Act. The White House says the president looks forward to getting the bill imminently and signing it. Here at home, Governor Lulian Guerrero reacts, saying this nearly $900 billion coronavirus relief package could not have come at a better time. Our people and people across the nation have been impacted by COVID, and no one can deny that federal assistance is needed. The governor adding she has worked personally with the National Governors Association to ensure Guam was included in coronavirus relief efforts for the states and territories. As discussions were ongoing, her administration made contact with key leaders in the Senate and Speaker Nancy Pelosi of the House. Their advocacy of the Team Guam message was heard in the White House and among members of the incoming Biden administration. Compacted Free Association migrants may soon be eligible for Medicaid coverage again for the first time since 1996. Congressman Michael Nicholas says if approved, it could mean millions of dollars in savings for the locally funded medically indigent program. COFA migrants turned to MIP after becoming ineligible for Medicaid, which is a medical assistance program for low-income families. In a news release, Nicholas said, quote, more updates will be forthcoming in the next 24 to 48 hours, including relief and stimulus packages. Congressman Nicholas is trying to wrap up major outstanding issues before it can recess for the holidays. In other news, the Guam Cannabis Control Board met yesterday afternoon, and the burning topic, marijuana in Tumon. Peter Santos reports.
The Guam Cannabis Control Board met today to get into the weeds of their proposed rules and regulations. Of the topics discussed, one in particular has been a point of controversy for both the board and for some in the community. The thought of the sale and use of marijuana in Tuan has drawn out tourism business veterans in opposition. But CCB board member Adrian Cruz says it would have been nice to hear the opposition a little earlier.
You know, we've been 18 months on this. This is not new. I really wish that GVB or whoever would have been a little more involved or voiced a little more when we were even talking about these particular things way in the past.
Board member Nico Fujikawa sought to clear up an issue many in the tourism industry have been worried about: the idea of tourist families being exposed to marijuana by way of on-site consumption permits. But Cruz says the idea just isn't feasible.
If it's a cannabis restaurant and they're a licensed cannabis facility, you can't have a family that goes there, because by definition, the only people that can go into a cannabis facility, as per our rules, is people over the age of 21.
Should be 21.
That's right. So
Yeah, right.
you're not going to be able to have Sunday brunch at the pot restaurant. I mean, that's not reality according to our own rules.
Cruz says the dilemma is all too familiar.
The thing that upsets me the most is I remember a conversation like this. I remember GVB saying something like this when it was the Natasha Protection Act. I remember them saying that, if you ban smoking in the restaurants, the tourists aren't going to come because Japanese like to smoke when they eat, and they like to smoke when they go out to bars, and it's just going to be so terrible. Gloom and doom, gloom and doom.
The current proposed rules prohibit the operation of a cannabis-related facility within 1,000 feet of a public park or school, amongst others. And with 2 large beach parks in Tumon, it turns out there's just a few pockets where businesses could be set up. And as far as the overall image of Guam to the tourist markets,
the market already tells us when Koreans come to Guam, they don't want to stay in the hotel. Because they go stay in the Airbnb and they don't go on the Japanese official tour routes where, they're only stopping at certain places. That's the way our market is trending. And so this idea that somehow, that the Japanese want to come here for a Japan flavored Guam that's thinking from 1970. That's just not holding water anymore.
the Cannabis Control Board recessed and will reconvene December 30th at 1 p.m. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
We could know as early as this afternoon as to whether public schools will return to face-to-face learning. The Guam Education Board will be holding a virtual meeting at 3 p.m. to discuss school reopening plans. Governor Lulian Guerrero said in last week's press conference, based on our CAR score and as the first vaccines are administered, we will be looking into the potential reopening of schools. In addition, GDOE will continue to offer alternative models of learning for parents and students not comfortable with returning to face-to-face learning. The board will also discuss and take action on the task force recommendations. You can watch the live stream again 3 o'clock this afternoon on the GDOE Facebook page. And finally, celebrate the holidays with KUAM. Join us on Christmas Eve for KUAM's Christmas Wish with the Guam Department of Education's Gifted and Talented Education Program. The show is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. on December 24th on TV8 and streaming live on Facebook. Then on Christmas night, we continue our celebration with a virtual dance experience in partnership with the Guam Allied Dance Force. We're partnering to raise money for the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. That is 6:30 p.m. Christmas evening only on KUAM TV8. And that's your news. We'll have more on the link after the break.
We're doing a good job. And I'm Tyler Matanani.
Celebrate the holidays with KUAM.
Join us on Christmas Eve for KUAM's Christmas Wish with the Guam Department of Education's Gifted and Talented Education Program.
Don't miss the show scheduled for 6:30 p.m. on December 24th on KUAM TV8 and streaming live on Facebook.
Then on Christmas night, we continue our celebration with a virtual dance experience in partnership with the Guam Allied Dance Force.
We're partnering to raise money for the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. That's 6:30 p.m. on Christmas evening only on KUAM TV8.
It's going to be a great celebration of Christmas with music and dance, and we hope to see you there.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
We're doing a good job, Guam. In the past couple of weeks, we've managed to keep the CAR score below 5. Together, we rose to the challenge when the governor asked us all to strive for 5.
In the past couple of weeks, we've not only brought the CAR score way down from being in the high 40s to below 5, we've shown the governor that we're capable of altering the course of this pandemic. We were on a path to uncertainty, but now because of all of our actions, we're doing better.
But better doesn't necessarily mean that we are out of the woods. We still need to watch our distance, wash our hands, and wear our masks. So please keep striving, Guam.
We got this.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us, use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM and its community partners, McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, and the Guam Museum want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@KUAM.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, the Guam Museum, and KUAM Communications. Breaking news! This just in, Santa has a combined $4,000 to give away for Guam's best outdoor holiday display. Submit your outdoor display for a chance to win cash prizes. All submissions will be posted on our Facebook page, and the top 10 most liked pictures or videos wins a special cash prize to make your season even brighter. Visit KUAM.com for more details.
You're watching The Link with Chris and Sabrina on TV 11. Stick around because we're next on CBS This Morning.
I got to remind you guys that if you're looking for a gift, now this is one of those awesome gifts that keeps on giving. Now, I'm talking about the gift of culture, Chamorro culture and cuisine. Now you can order the ever-popular Chamorro cuisine cookbook on the chamorrocuisine.com and send it to your families. I'm pretty sure they will love it. All right, 6:43 in the morning.
Oh yeah, I got one quick comment from one of our top fans, of course, Glenn Lujan, who joins the show like every day. Actually messaged me really early this morning. Was kind of concerned because he was saying, I guess he saw Adelup. He passed by downtown and saw that the flags were at half staff, and he goes, do you guys know why that is? And Adelup actually said, and you might remember that the former vice mayor of Barrigada, the late Vicente Lujan Leongurel, so I wonder maybe possibly a relative of Glenn's, passed away on December 3rd. So flags continue to be at half-mast to honor the memory of former vice mayor of Barrigada, Vicente Leongurel.
Okay, and our condolences to the family.
Absolutely.
We're going to head into the Zoom room now where we have the president of the Farmers Cooperative Association, Mike Uggan joining us. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thanks for letting me come in here this morning and speak a little bit for our co-op.
Oh, I'll anytime you want to come on. Let's just start with the event you guys are holding tomorrow.
Yes, on Wednesdays we have our weekly produce bag that we provide. Every week we put out a new posting listing all the produce that will be available in the bag, and people can they call in or other means to place an order, or they can just drive up and order a bag. It's a set price, $20 a bag, and you know, whatever the farmers have available in the current time frame, we generally provide that. We've also started doing a little what do you call it, a mystery item is what my staff been calling it. So it's an unknown, and whatever is available that's, you know, it's not going to be listed, we put it in there and surprise our customers there. So
what's in season now, Mike? That is something what is in season now that's something you know is going to be in every bag?
Okay, well, just to start off on that, right? You know, the rain has really been crazy the last several months and weeks. So the farming productivity is just starting to pick up, right? So we can have something this week, next week is not available and all that. But we were, yesterday we were informed by one of our big farmers, and you guys probably know him, that his corn will be available this week as opposed to 2 weeks from now. So a lot of people have been asking for that, and it's always been popular. And so we're going to be happy to provide that to our customers. And it's going to be a good Christmas for everybody for that. That's a good one right there.
And I've been to his farm. It's really huge. So hopefully, you know, could that be the mystery item?
For tomorrow, I believe it might be, because it's not listed on the current flyer.
And this is while supplies last, right? How many of these bags are you going to be able to get out?
Well, you know, when we first started, we just started at 20, you know, way back in May, right? Because, you know, things were still just heating up with this COVID thing and everything. And we didn't know what, you know, we're just trying to figure out what to do to keep our farmers, you know, producing and sustaining their livelihood. And then we've grown, we kept growing, getting more requests and all that. So we've gone up to well over 100 bags on a weekly basis. You know, and then, you know, sometimes it fluctuates, right? One of the things we noticed was that when DOE was doing their food distributions, especially up there in Derrida, that kind of impacted us in a way. But then it just picked up right away the next week, or, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, they always know that we're giving them fresh produce. So it's not the same as what the DOE was passing out, right? Those are other commodities that, you know, they have a different shelf life and all that. So,
you mentioned, Mike, the farmers during this COVID pandemic. With the farming community, you know, they don't get to just shut down operations for a few months. You know, you've got to keep, you know, sowing the crop and all that. So, how has the community handled this whole thing?
Well, you know, the farming community, right? When this pandemic first started, you saw, and I think there was some on your guys' news about a lot of farms that were just left. All the produce was rotting on the field, right? They were hanging from the vine because there was no customers to send it to, like restaurants, hotels, and other places. So it was very limited, and you know, that really hurt. So we realizing that it would take at least 2 to 3 months for the farming to start up again, right? And to get going. So even if they lifted it, say today, it would take 2 to 3 months to really get in full production to meet the demand. So we decided we needed to find something to help keep it going, so that they're still at least producing a little, you know, keeping activity moving forward. And so it's been pretty good. We've grown our membership more than double, I believe it is. You know, as farmers, we've grown it over, we doubled it. And, you know, it's a very diverse group it's us. Like, we didn't even realize how diverse it was until just a few days we're talking about it. It was like, we have local Chamorro guys, we got stateside, we have Asian people, different countries, you know, all around, Filipinos, Chinese, Vietnamese, and it's just, it's great. We're really diverse in that matter. We even have some women producers, and we have hydroponic producers, you know, all of that. And now we're even trying to move into some of the livestock or animal products, like fresh eggs and even chickens, farm-raised meat-eating chickens, you know, stuff like that. We're trying to get that going already. So.
Well, we had Dio on last week. He gave us a little bit of a tour of the new store up there at the farmer's market.
Yes.
And we also have these pictures that were sent to us from Catherine. Congratulations on the opening of the market.
Thank you so much. I know it's funny, we're opening a store in the middle of a pandemic where everything's shut down. We don't believe it either.
Well, that's one of those things with farming, is that it doesn't matter the pandemic or the economy. We need to produce food, and I mean, it's vital. You know, that's how humans are still here, is farming.
Yeah, people need to eat. Yep. And you know, that was one of the main things, is that being on this island way out here in the Pacific, right? You know, I'm retired fire, so we always talk about this, the time and distance when we have major response and where help can arrive, right? Like FEMA and other. So even with food, right? If something happened to the shipping or any of those things during this pandemic, we needed to be able to have something available for our local community. So those are all the driving forces that keep us going. Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, Mike, is there anything else you'd like to share with the public?
Well, you know, first I just want to thank the people of Guam that have been supporting the farmers up here, and you know, trying to help them provide a livelihood for their families. But also, I think they're really enjoying our produce. So, you know, I want to say thank you for that. We have grown so much in the last 10 months. You couldn't even recognize the co-op, actually, from online presence, you know, doing things with PayPal, and we've increased our customer base. Also, we're calling these businesses that are still closed down, and we're just setting up, we're planning for their reopening, trying to see what their needs are so we can start providing it for them when the time comes. We have even corporate customers that are ordering our produce bags to give out to their employees for part of their Christmas giving to their employees. So that's a good thing for us too. So yeah, and we're even.
So how do people go about getting a produce bag, Mike?
All you have to do, you can pre-order via text or WhatsApp. I got a couple numbers here: 971-0429 or 685-7842. You can order there, or we have email at fcaguam@gmail.com. So, you know, and like I said, we also have PayPal. We can't do a credit card on that direct because we're not yet set with that. That's from the banks and all that. We don't have that yet. But PayPal's available.
And in the
back. And the pickup time is tomorrow, correct?
Yes, every Wednesday. We usually from 2 to 5. Sometimes we finish the bagging earlier, and you know, if we do, we start calling these customers that order so they can come and pick it up. But that's generally the time frame. And we've also been providing it down at Chamorro Village to make it convenient for people further south, that they don't have to drive up to Dedido to receive their order. So.
And so in tomorrow's bag, people can look forward to the soursop, eggplant, wing beans, pechay, hot pepper, and the mystery item.
Wow. Wow.
Jason salivating over here.
Wow.
So just this flyer right here is just something that we just, like, 10 months ago, we never knew we could do on our own. But we did. We have a lot of help from like UOG, the extension agents, real big partners of ours, and GITA as well. So, and Department of Ag. So we've had help.
All right. And just real quickly on the market, what are the hours and the days
Our
that
hours
it's
for the
open?
market for now, we just did a soft opening. So we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then on Saturday, we open at 12 and for 12 to 3. So we wait to the flea market, the up there in Derrida. We give them a chance to do their thing in the morning. They close down at 10. Then we open up the market, the indoor market at 12 to, anybody that are late risers or whatever, and they need to get some produce. We're still available for that. So,
all right.
Yep.
Well, thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you too. Thank you for having us on board and explaining things out there to the public. So, just support the local farming, right?
Exactly. Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Merry Christmas to you too. Tell your husband Frank I said Merry Christmas also.
All right. Take care. Take care. And okay. And stay tuned, everybody. We'll have more on the link again tomorrow. If you want to place an order for one of the produce bags, you can pre-order it via text or WhatsApp. That's 971-0429 or 685-7842. You can also email fcaguam@gmail.com.
Can I ask you guys what is your favorite locally grown vegetable or local produce, fruit or vegetable?
Oh, dude, that changes depending on what I'm cooking at that moment. I mean, the eggplants are outstanding, tomatoes, the peppers, the corn, the beans, everything you imagine. When you get it fresh, if you've never gotten one of these produce bags, I highly recommend it. I mean, you want to talk as fresh as possible. These farmers up in Derrida and Jigo, they harvest, bring it to the co-op, they bag them, and they're ready for you. So if you're cooking anything, you don't need to be a vegetarian. Get one of these bags. And, it's bigger than that too, Bree. That a lot of talk about us being, self-sustainable. I mean, one of the best ways to do that is to support the farmers so we don't have to have all this produce shipped in. More we support the farmers, the more we're going to see their produce in local stores, the more you can buy it, support local, and that just helps everybody. So it's a great thing overall.
Okay, so we got
you
two.
definitely can tell the difference. I like wing beans. I love that, especially when you make it with the corned beef.
Well, we've got 2 votes now for corn because even Joe said, look at that.
Obviously, Mr. Wustig's sweet corn.
Ernie Wustig, he's always outside the guard base up in Barragata and everything, selling that sweet corn. Oh man, that is good. But but for me, I'm actually gonna put my vote behind local cucumber. You try local cucumber, especially if they cut it like lengthwise, the long way, man, it completely changes how your sandwich tastes, and for the better. It's so good.
And I really like the eggplant with the coconut milk and the lemon and then the onions and some hot pepper. Oh.
How about you, Vic?
I gotta go with okra or did you guys call Cancun too? Cancun?
No,
Cancun's good.
But that's good.
Yeah, that's very good.
I don't think I've tried the local okra.
Oh, it's good. I love it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Okay. I like okra, but
I'm not a huge okra fan in general. But, sometimes when it's done properly, I think it's great. So, yeah, obviously I would go local as much as I can. Always hit up the local section of the local stores to get that produce from here on island. That's the best way to do it.
You know what's good too? Local pineapple.
Ooh.
That's so sweet. Or Joe started saying local
don't even
watermelon.
get me started on fruits. There's so many here on Guam that are just crazy good.
All right, well, we're going to take a break and maybe talk some more fruits after the break.
We're doing a good job, Guam. In the past couple of weeks, we've managed to keep the CAR score below 5. Together, we rose to the challenge when the governor asked us all to strive for 5.
In the past couple of weeks, we've not only brought the CAR score way down from being in the high 40s to below 5, we've shown the governor that we're capable of altering the course of this pandemic. We were on a path to uncertainty, but now because of all of our actions, we're doing better.
But better doesn't necessarily mean that we are out of the woods. We still need to watch our distance, wash our hands, and wear our masks. So please keep striving, Guam.
We got this.
Catch the holiday soundtrack starting December 1st through January 5th. You'll be treated to an all-day festive playlist only on Breeze 93.9 FM. Also streaming on KUAM.com and the KUAM mobile app. Let's spread joy and holiday cheer this season. Holiday soundtrack brought to you by Domino's. Visit domino's.gu for faster, easier online ordering.
Hafiday, I'm Peter Santos.
And I'm Tyler Matinani.
Celebrate the holidays with KUAM.
Join us on Christmas Eve for KUAM's Christmas Wish with the Guam Department of Education's Gifted and Talented Education Program.
Don't miss the show scheduled for 6:30 p.m. on December 24th on KUAM TV 8 and streaming live on Facebook.
Then on Christmas night, we continue our celebration with a virtual dance experience in partnership with the Guam Allied Dance Force.
We're partnering to raise money for the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. That's 6:30 p.m. on Christmas evening only on KUAM TV 8.
It's going to be a great celebration of Christmas with music and dance, and we hope to see you there.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us. Use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM and its community partners, McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, and the Guam Museum want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@KUAM.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, the Guam Museum, and KUAM Communications. Breaking news! This just in, Santa has a combined $4,000 to give away for Guam's best outdoor holiday display. Submit your outdoor display for a chance to win cash prizes. All submissions will be posted on our Facebook page, and the top 10 most liked pictures or videos wins a special cash prize to make your season even brighter. Visit KUAM.com for more details.
Our frontliners have been working tirelessly to keep us safe, and now they need your help to get our island back up and running as safely as possible. Did you know your smartphone can be one of the most powerful tools in our fight against COVID-19? That's why we're bringing you the Guam COVID Alert Exposure Notification app. This app works by letting you know if you've been exposed to someone who's positive. It's completely voluntary, and more importantly, it's completely anonymous. It does not track who you are or your location. Researchers at Oxford University have found that for every 100 to 200 downloads of the app, It can prevent 100 infections and save 1 life. Add your phone to the COVID fight by going to guamcovidalert.guam.gov or download it from the App Store or Google Play now. Help Guam stop COVID-19.
You're watching The Link with Chris and Sabrina on TV 11, but don't leave yet because we're coming up next on CBS This Morning.
We got your 6.
At 6 a.m. with The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM. Bree and I connect you with all the latest news and information you need to know to start your day.
Then check back with Guam's news leader at 6 p.m. for the day's top headlines with KUAM News Primetime.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and everything else in between with KUAM Digital, we got your 6.
One, two, three, say ching-a-ling-a-ling, ching-ching. Ching-a-ling-a-ling, ching-ching. Ching-a-ling-a-ling, ching-ching. Ching-a-ling-a-ling, ching-ching. Ching-a-ling-a-ling, ching-ching. Ching-a-ling-a-ling, ching-ching. Well, it's fine and good as gold money, the old Chamorro way. Well, it's fine and good as gold money, the old Chamorro way. It's jungle bells and coconut shell, Santa's on his way. Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to The Link on a Tuesday, half a day, and thank you for hanging out with us. Link family is in the house. We're all in this together. We are all one group, and we are so happy to have you along for the ride. I actually threw a comment in our comment stream asking you guys, bringing you guys into the conversation, asking you what you thought about local vegetables, and we got some interesting responses right here. Christina Hokog, who's one of our top fans, just says, and she's using that wonderful emoji with the, and I keep bringing this up, guys, she's got the smile emoji with the 2 stars, and they're purple stars. Mine are blue. I've seen some people have red and everything like that, but I love Christina's like emoji. And she goes, I love all vegetables, and as you should. They're all delicious. Wong Fu, a commenter of ours, says, I love local watermelon. So there's another. There's one for Joe, sir. Where Wong Fu may or may not stand on sweet spaghetti, we'll figure that part out. Yeah, Andy's saying no. That's a hard no for Mr. Wheeler over there in the Zoom room. Okay.
Pass.
Okay, Sabrina's relative, our beloved Auntie Pumpkin, was saying, hey, Bree, check Jenny and Richard Barcinas, your cousins, for local pineapples. Jalen helps out his parents. Now, I know Richard Barcinas, he's a captain in the Guard, I believe.
I'm not sure what his rank is.
Yeah, but he's a super, super nice guy. We used to run into him all the time when Sabrina and I would go up to lunch, and we'd go to the Micronesia Mall food court, and we'd always see Richard there. And they're from, is it Molesso?
Yeah, his family is.
Okay, and they have a pretty high capacity farm, right?
Yeah, they do some farming, but they live in Upper Heights, and so they have land where they stay, and they have a pineapple.
Oh, very
nice.
nice.
They grow a lot of pineapples.
And that's fertile ground over there. So all right. So Richard, we'll connect with you. Oh man, local pineapples are so good. Okay, Debbie Davis from Bardstown, Kentucky. I'm curious too, Debbie. What is the I should know this too. What is the staple crop of Kentucky? What do they grow there? But when Debbie says when she was stationed here, and that was in the late 80s, early 90s, she goes, she would always make sure to try all the local fruits, fresh and locally grown, were and are the best. Absolutely agree. Okay, and here's Glenn. Love all local vegetables, and Glenn would know because he and Jason are both excellent cooks. They're the best. Glenn says, I love all local vegetables, eggplant and cucumbers in particular. Now, Glenn, the guys at Different make outstanding corn soup. So, wait, do they use sweet corn for corn soup, Joe, sir? You can use a sweet corn? Yep. Okay, I don't know if there's a difference between, okay, how about bananas? Nobody's mentioned bananas because especially if you go down south to what I want to make sure I don't get this wrong. Is it Talafofo has the banana festival, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. and they all the mayor down there, Mayor Vicente, will always say there's big difference between the cooking bananas, the super long bananas that you get. I mean, like you guys help me out in the comments and everything, but okay. And then Glenn says, yes, fresh corn for the corn soup. Thank you, Glenn. But yeah, bananas, there's like 100 different things you can do with Guam cuisine with bananas.
And what I love about what the guys are doing up there at the co-op is that, usually to get a lot of these local vegetables and fruits, you've got to find the stand selling on the side of the road like Mr. Wustig, or, I've got to know a family member or a friend who's got a small crop or something. So the co-op, being able to go there and get these produce bags with a lot of different things in it, all that, one place, one-stop shop, I think is pretty cool. So, you don't need to be a vegetarian to eat some great produce. So I highly recommend it.
Okay, Millie Indelicio Bria saying, can I get the phone number to the Farmers Co-op?
Yes, let me pull that up.
Okay, so
we actually have the graphic too.
And also got a call, and I think this is a really good topic we're on here.
Shoot.
A lot of people are calling. I think a lot of people are interested, especially when it comes down to buying local and supporting local. So they're asking how much are the bags for tomorrow's event.
Right, it is $20. This is the soursop, eggplant, wing beans, pechay, hot pepper, and then they have the mystery item, which we kind of have been able to deduce that it's going to be corn, sweet corn.
Ooh, spoiler alert!
Right,
we cracked the code.
You need to pre-order. It's via text or WhatsApp. The number is 971-0429 or 685-7842.
Wait, say that one more time.
971-0429 or 685-7842. You can also email fcaguam@gmail.com or sales@guamfarmers.org. So tomorrow they are having the pickup. It's from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Dedo Farmers Co-op. And you heard from Mike again that they will also be having I believe pickup at Chamorro Village in Agania.
And I'm putting all of that information in the comments, and boom, there you go. Okay, real quick. Okay, Glenn is lending his expertise, and certainly there was a lot of it on bananas. Then he goes, guys, bananas are a completely different story now because there are many, and you can do a lot of things with them. Glenn goes, the local plantain bananas are known as the aga, the long ones, and small sweet ones, aka the Manila bananas. Mm-hmm. What do you make with those, Joser?
Those are sweet.
Those are sweet. He's a man of few words, but when he does, Joser drops knowledge. All right, so yes, okay. Maggie Monroe Anderson says we're always excited when our banana tree has the little local bananas. That's the best when anything bears fruit. And Debbie says when we were asking her like what grows in that amazing Kentucky bluegrass, she goes corn and soybeans. Oh, where do you guys stand on soy and like tofu? I love tofu. Tofu's awesome.
I've had tofu.
Oh yeah, tofu's great. Like I said, man, for the past 2.5 years up until September, I was a vegetarian. So every local vegetable you can imagine, man, I tried it, and any of those non-meat things like tofu had a lot of that. And you know what is I love that. I was talking a little bit more with Mike and stuff because this stuff is, what I'm really into. When you guys start talking politics and government, I'm too stupid to contribute, so I just kind of sit here and look pretty. But then when you're talking fruits, veggies, farmers, stuff like that, I'm all in, man. So, hey, I'm here to talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Glenn actually busted me because, there was a method to my madness when I brought up bananas. Then he goes, Jason, your auntie too is a farmer. Dr. Marilyn Salas. Yes, thank you. Speaking of spoiler alert, yeah. My Auntie Marilyn has given us bananas, you guys. And like Vic knows my Auntie Marilyn and her husband, the former governor of Chuuk State, Dr. Encito Walter.
That was such a great talk we had.
Did they ever hook you up with any bananas?
I think because right after we had COVID happen, so everything went into lockdown. So
okay,
but they wanted to drop some stuff off here at the station, but I guess they just COVID happened.
I gotta bring like a bunch of my Auntie Marilyn's bananas. Auntie Merry Christmas, by the way. Like we miss you guys terribly. But yeah, her bananas are amazing. Okay, and then Glenn and True to Glenn, he goes, OMG, yes, pad thai too is yummy. If Chris was here, he would be going nuts when you bring up pad thai. Absolutely.
You know, one thing that we haven't mentioned, but I think it's just the standard everyone knows, is the mango. I mean, you can't talk about any kind of fresh produce on Guam without mentioning mango. It's just like, that's that top tier mango. Everyone loves it. So we can't go on without talking about that.
Okay, what about pickle papaya?
Ooh.
I mean, I know
yeah,
that's absolutely, I mean, that's already prepared, but
That's like a go-to. That's like you can eat it with anything. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, not just pickled. Yeah. The fresh papaya. I mean, you know, anything local.
Okay, I know I've mentioned a couple things. I've mentioned a couple things. I've given already my personal endorsement to cucumbers and to sweet corn and to bananas. But for me, I am hashtag Team Calamansi. I love me some calamansi, you guys. Calamansi. I mean, I eat it like right off the.
You know, with all this talk about local food, you know, the Micronesian Climate Alliance, they have this cookbook that's out, and you know, a lot of it promotes the use of local produce to make some of their goods. And so I wanted to segue into Breeze Holiday Baking Club, because one of the people that we're focusing featuring is Cami Aguirola. She is one of the hosts of that segment, and you know, I called her up, and she is cooking something up for us today. So let's take a look at that segment.
Hafa everyone, and Biba Ha'anin Christmas. My name is Cami Aguirola, and today I will be showing you how to make my version of champaladu. If I'm being honest, my actual favorite Christmas dessert would have to be my Gama's Letizia. It's perfect, it makes me feel like home, it's always served around Christmas and very special other holidays, but because the holidays are looking a little different this year, I wanted to come up with my own recipe to keep me in the spirit at home. But this one has a little twist. Recently, I've done a web series with Micronesia Climate Change Alliance promoting a plant-based cookbook, and it also inspired me to make a vegan version of champaladu. I've switched out some of the dairy products with non-dairy alternatives. If I do say so myself, it's still quite good. It's not as good as my papa's, according to what my mom tells me, but it is a close second. So first, I'm gonna show you some of the ingredients, and then we'll begin. So for the materials and ingredients we're gonna have a medium-sized pot with any large spoon will be fine. Up next I measured out 2 cups of white, washed and uncooked rice. We're going to be soaking that in. About 4 cups of water that I have set aside here. Now for our dairy replacements, which make this a vegan champaladu. You can have 12 ounces of either coconut milk or almond milk. For this particular demonstration, I'm going to have about 6 ounces of coconut milk and 6 ounces of almond milk, but you can do either or. So a full can of coconut milk or about 12 ounces of almond. And our last 2 ingredients are definitely to taste. I would say I use 3/4 of a cup of sugar, white sugar, and 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. And you can adjust those to taste. All right, let's head to the stove. So first we're gonna put our uncooked rice in the pot. Right now I have it on medium-high heat. And up next we're gonna have our 4 cups of water go right into the bowl. We're gonna stir that around. So once I have my water in the pot, I'm going to leave this for about 5 minutes and we'll check back on it later. So after about 5 minutes on a medium-high heat, I took off the cover and you're gonna have this type of consistency. Now I already measured out 6 ounces of the coconut milk, so I'm just gonna add that straight in and then give it a little stir. And then I'm going to add an additional 6 ounces of almond milk. So like I said the first time, it doesn't have to be a little half and half concoction like I'm doing it here, but this is just to show you what type of consistency and what type of taste you're looking for. I personally like it with the coconut milk because it is a little thicker and I like my champolado a little bit more on the thick side. Almond milk is good if you want it to have a thinner consistency and not have it so like chunky. Coconut milk is also good because you don't have to have that much of an added white granulated sugar, because coconut milk is already pretty sweet on its own. I don't really add that much sugar when I use a full can of coconut milk. So now I'm going to start by adding 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. That looks about right. Okay, so we're gonna add this in. I think I'm gonna switch over to a whisk. My handy dandy assistant over here. So I switched to a whisk because I was just not getting all the chunks of chocolate broken down enough. So with the whisk it was a little bit easier. So if you want to have a whisk on hand, that'll probably help you out. So now I'm adding in some white sugar. Typical recipes usually call for about 3/4 of a cup, but today I'm just doing it to taste because I think that coconut milk is pretty sweet on its own. Let's just add a little bit more because I don't think we're going to need a lot of sugar in this. So now that everything is in the pot, it's incorporated, and it's smelling amazing, I'm going to leave this on the stove at a medium heat for about 20 minutes. Then we're gonna plate it, give it a try, and see how we did. Should I put my Santa hat on for the taste test? It's good. Delicious. All right, everyone, thank you so much for following my recipe on vegan champolado. If you try this recipe, make sure to take a photo and tag KOAM News. And thank you so much, Bree, for including me in this holiday special. Adios.
Thank you, Cammy.
Dude, you guys. Okay, we
That looks so
are
good.
batting 1,000 right now. We are 2 for 2 because Cammy now had the vegan champolado, and I know what a lot of you watching this are going to say. Okay, vegan, it won't taste as good. You know, it's like super bougie. I'm not like that. You know, I want to go like, you know, legit. No, this vegan champolado is really, really good. And we even messaged like Cammy on the side, and we're like, okay, tell us the truth. Like, is there any differentiation in taste? She goes, it tastes exactly what her Nana used to make.
Nice.
And so yesterday we had Sarah Phyllis's Camacho's Hasselbeck butternut squash. 3 words that are you have to get right. So that was amazing. You can check it out on our YouTube channel. Cammy's today, and all this week through Christmas Eve, we're gonna have special ones. Where's yours? I want to see what you're gonna make.
I think mine is airing tomorrow. Yeah. It's the Russian tea cakes.
Okay, and then also we kind of let the cat out of the bag, but the governor also has an amazing recipe for you.
Yeah, she's doing English toffee
cookies.
Yeah.
That technically,
and she's a baker.
Yeah.
So
technically,
I'm
she
excited
said they're
to
her
see that.
mother-in-law's original recipe, but then she added some zazz. She went the gov. You know,
She did the
she writes policy on making cookies, you guys, trust me. No doubt. So that's coming up, and make sure to check it out, and please share it on our YouTube channel, because you know it's not just these are master bakers who you can never, whose level you can never reach. I mean, they are sharing their recipes because you can make these at home very, very easily. Share them with your family and have a wonderful holiday season.
Right. And if you do make the champolado or the Hasselbeck butternut squash recipe, please, again, as Cammy said, tag at KUAM News when you post it on.
And see that? Look at that.
social
Okay,
media.
Glenn says in comments, and Glenn's Glenn knows a thing or two about food of varieties, and he goes, hey, I've tried vegan dishes, and yes, you'd be surprised. It tastes just the same. Absolutely agree.
Right. Well, let's
Yeah, I agree, man. You can add a lot of flavor to vegan dishes. People think that, you know, when you go vegetarian or vegan, it's just you have a piece of lettuce. That's not true. There's so much you can do with it. You know, experiment with all these flavors and spices and still be vegan, still be healthy, but have huge amounts of flavor. So, you know, you just have to do the research, and the recipes are out there.
All right. Well, let's head into the Zoom room where we have the president of Peba. And Peba is its mission is to promote bilingual, bicultural activities in the Pacific Island areas of Guam. And joining us now again is Rosa Paloma.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring her up right now. She might be on the phone right now. But yeah, Rosa, of course, has done a lot for our island community throughout the course of her career. Language. There she is. Good morning, Auntie.
Manana si Diyos.
Okay, and let me just say, because Auntie Rosa, you were, I believe you were doing something, you were on the phone, but we just had a wonderful segment where our Cami Egurola, I believe you know the Egurola family, there's Neil is her father, did a lot of wonderful things, but she made vegan champaladu. I know you know a thing or two about champaladu.
It brings back childhood memories.
All right.
Yeah.
And I think just about every child who goes to the public schools and those private schools that offer chamorro, in the elementary schools would know what champalado is.
Mm-hmm. Do you make it with coconut milk?
You know, sometimes it just depends. That, like, my children will probably say, "Oh, this tastes a little different." And that's because they're used to just regular milk. Well, regular milk meaning not coconut milk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but coconut milk is healthier.
Mm-hmm. Which do you prefer?
I actually prefer I grew up with the coconut milk version.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to try that. Well, the reason why we brought Rosa on was to talk about Peba, and also how, you know, it is the holiday season, the spirit of giving, and you guys made a generous donation to people in need over at Global Dorms.
Yes, we did. You know, when people are in need and we are more fortunate, it's very difficult, at least for me personally, to bypass the announcements that are being made. Many of us, or quite a bit of us, are more fortunate, and if we could spare just a little bit of what God has provided for us, you know, that would be great. Particularly during this time, we not only have the pandemic, but it also is the Christmas season, and the Christmas season, you know, for me is giving from the heart. But again, my bias is Christmas is my favorite, even next to my birthday, of all the holidays there are. There's just something about Christmas that warms my heart. And, you know, I have to say that this Christmas, with the pandemic and then the loss of two of my brothers and one of my brother's wife who passed away, it was very trying for my family and I. But when I went to our church and I saw all the Christmas trees decorated a couple of weeks ago, you know, I said, okay, I'm going to have to do something Christmassy at our home. It just kind of lifts your spirits up a little bit. For me, it's like the world ain't so bad, you know? There are good things happening, and there are good people. And I needed to be a part of that, and to also continue my tradition of celebrating however it is we do with our family. We just can't gather, you know, because I have a large family, but I can certainly say, hey, how about if you guys, this family, come this evening, and then maybe the next evening, you know, another family will come by, so that we don't go over the requisite protocol number. So anyways, with our donation, we saw one of our secretary, actually, Dr. Debbie Ellen, excuse me, two first names, hard to not remember. Dr. Debbie Ellen sent us a message on our chat and also shared the newspaper article on the need for baby items, diapers, formula, baby wipes that came out in the paper for the for the children. And we were particularly concerned, we're concerned for all the children, but most of us are grandparents. So the need for diapers and the need for formula is close to our hearts, right? So, and the 0 to 24 months was what caught our eye. So that's why we decided, let's focus on the diapers and the formula. The downside to that was that we do not know if any of the babies are sensitive to any, for example, any of the diapers. I've learned a lot about diapers. We just had our first grandson almost exactly a year ago. Mm-hmm. So I have, even though my oldest child is now 30, it just kind of brought me back. And also, we didn't know what particular formula they needed. And so after our coordinator, Senora Ruth Mendiola, made contact with Paula Calvo, I believe, up at the Catholic Social Service organization, director or acting director Paula said, it doesn't matter what kind of formula, and the diapers, they'll take whatever they can. So as a result of that, within less than a week, actually, we put out our this motion to donate to Catholic Social Services for the babies at the Global Dorm Hotel. And within 3-4 days, we had our donation. So we put out the call Monday and we collected everything Thursday, and on Friday we dropped it off. I wish that we could say we donated 100 boxes of diapers, and 50 cans of formula, but we collected what we can from our giving members. I'd also like just to add here that the Pacific Islands Bilingual Bicultural Association, Guam chapter, is not a large organization. We have like 25 active members, 25 to 30. So when we put out, our request for this, we take in whatever our members can provide. If it's a box or a package of diapers, we'll take them. We're very open-hearted. We just take anything and everything as long as it's not expired, or you know how some people would donate expired items. You have to kind of sift those out. And that there are in unused condition, because that is very necessary. We don't want to add any more to the trauma and to the inconveniences that these individuals we are giving to, have. So I am very grateful for our members, even though we are a few, but we were able to fill 2 shopping carts to the brim, way over the top, actually, of items. But I'm very...
Rosa, hi, good morning. I'm sorry.
Good morning there, Andy.
Hi, nice to see you. I had a question about the association. I'm not too familiar about it. You said it's a relatively small one. Can you just tell me a little bit of the history of the Pacific Island Bilingual Bicultural Association?
Sure. Actually, in 1980, there were a group of what we refer to ourselves as the Title VII directors. At that point, we were the directors of the Bilingual Bicultural Education Act that was funded by the federal government, of course, and the Bilingual Bicultural Education Act impacted Guam, Hawaii, and then all of the islands of Micronesia. I mean, that's all of the islands of Micronesia, and of course the entire United States. Well, Guam had made that application, and we were accepted. And then once a year, the federal government calls the Title VII directors. So I'm talking like 10, 12 people together for a meeting. That's where we do all the, here's what's changing, don't do this, that sort of thing. What are the new things? Anyways, as a result of one of the meetings in 1980, the Pacific Islands Title VII director, or from our area, I think it's probably best to call it the Micronesian portion of the Pacific Islands, got together and said, let's form an organization. And we did. I believe Dr. Robert Underwood was our first president. That time he was heading one of the Bilingual Education Act funded programs at the University of Guam. So that was instituted. And then Guam, we formulated an organization a few years after that. So that's why we have the Pacific Islands Bilingual Bicultural Association and Pacific Bilingual Bicultural Association Guam chapter, because I'm speaking for Guam chapter. I'm also treasurer for the international organization. And one of our goals is to not just disseminate information on what's going on in the bilingual, bicultural, multilingual, multicultural world throughout the nation and throughout the world, if I get information on that, to our members, but also to promote and support those teachers, particularly the teachers who are teaching a heritage language, because I think that's the going word now, a heritage language in their schools or anywhere. It could be, they could have a group of 5 people, I suppose, at home if that's what they're doing, but it's primarily for support purposes and dissemination. Our particular organization, small as it may be, have, voted a couple of years ago that we want to do little things for the community. And it could be in the form of, for example, when the Northern Marianas got hit by the consecutive typhoons, we gathered our efforts and donated, cases of water. I mean, the cases of water measured, not 100, but it was, by the time we stacked them, 6 stacks in a row, they were taller than me. So we can only give what we can. And I am so grateful because at that, Senator Will was able to transport some of those waters, as well as Senator-elect Frank Blas Jr. We wouldn't be able to transport it. We don't have a boat, but there are people out there who are willing to do this kind of stuff. And we just have to look or listen for them, because they're being announced left and right. And then one of the things that we've been, a couple of things that we've also done is, and after the pandemic, we'll continue on with it, is we have individuals, people from our island who have worked on their doctorate, finished and their dissertations are related to heritage language or culturally diverse populations. So we asked them to come and do a 1-hour presentation, give us the highlights of their dissertation results. Oftentimes we know people go off and do their work, do their PhDs or their EDDs. They go into the community and obtain their information, right, for their write-up. And then we don't hear from them. We don't hear what the results are unless you're doing research in that area and you find these things and you go, oh, here's something. But what we want to do is be proactive. And again, in support of our teachers, we want this information disseminated. So we have had Dr. Tio Cruz, who did work on some of her nursing activities, trying to find out. I get her research was the impact of cancer, among certain age women, Chamorro women in this case. We're now going to have, as soon as we, we're more able to have more people participate, Dr. Francine Napati, who has done research on our school-age children. So we like to disseminate these kinds of information and not wait for teachers to have to look them up and read them. At least if they hear about it, they know, oh, I heard something about this, last year. I know who to look for. The one thing now that we are working on is doing a mini educational workshop and going towards the other end of the island so that we can have more children participate. We just can't do it now because this is we can do it through Zoom, but the availability of, internet, laptops, we cannot depend on that at this point in time. So we're just going to wait it out, but we do want to do, like Dr. Debbie Ellen wants to do a workshop on, writing and putting together your own book. It's a literacy project. And we also want to tie it in with some cultural themes. And then I'm sure that we can get some of our professional cultural dancers to come in and work with the little kids on doing first steps. I have 2 left feet with this stuff, it's kind of hard to be ambidextrous and multitasking when you're my age, but we try so that we can demonstrate to the children. And I'm willing to make a fool of myself that way. It's okay. They're just little kids. They probably won't remember me in 10 years. But anyways, we want to build in the educational portion as well as the physical. And also to make our kids do some activities where they actually, they're always thinking for themselves, but now we want them to pick up on something and try to decide how to go from there,
Well, it sounds like a great organization you've got there, and I hope that, you continue for many, many years doing good in the community. So let's get back to this donation. Was this a one-off thing, or are you going to continue this program?
Well, we're having a meeting on Saturday, so we'll see what the memberships say, because we can continue to collect, and then when we have, if we can fill a cart full, it'll go off to Catholic Social Services. I know that it's Christmas time, and there are some people that those who have babies may receive diapers, right? But it isn't the right size. I've done that. Why did I give them that size? They might be willing to donate that. Like I said, we have a lot of grandmothers, grandparents in our group. So this will be something that we can mention to them, that if they get something, to please remember wipes as well, formula, bottles. They also need bottles. So anyone who's out there listening, if you have any of these items, or just go to the store and have an extra $20, see what you can pick up for $20. And you don't have to call us. You can just call Catholic Social Services, the acting deputy there, or anybody there. I just dialed the number and somebody answers all the time. Right. And this is the time of, all the time is the time of giving, but particular this time. They haven't asked for toys, I guess because of the pandemic issues, but I'm also sure that those children need toys and or something. Oh, I do know that they had, Paula had mentioned coloring books, educational games. just to keep for the older children that are there. Right. So, but we haven't gotten there yet. We just got to the 0 to 24 months.
Mm-hmm. And for people who aren't familiar, Global Dorms is the homeless shelter up in Mighty that was stood up during the pandemic by the administration, and more than half, or at least half of the census there are children. And so,
that's right.
So thank you, Rosa, and to Peba for that donation to Catholic Social Services, which operates the Global Dorms. I'm sure they really do appreciate that.
Before I leave, can I just mention that anyone who's interested, you do not have to be an educator. We're trying to get younger people in. We're getting we're moving along in age here, so we'd like to pass the buck. So I'm not pass the buck, but we'd like to pass the what it is that we are doing onto the younger people. So please just call. Sabrina here and Andy knows how to get a hold of us. And then also I just want to thank my Peba members for all their donation and hard work during this past year. Si Zeus Masi, Feliz Pascua, be safe, Adios.
Adios. Merry Christmas.
Adios. Merry Christmas.
All right. That was Rosa Paloma. She's the president of Peba, and they just made a donation of diapers and formula over to the Global Dorm Hotel in Mighty. Peba is the Pacific
That's a great
Islands.
talk, man. Sounds like a small group, like she said, but they're doing a lot of good with what they have. Their members obviously passionate about it, giving back, and focusing on that 0 to 24-month-old. That's diapers. It's not like you just buy them diapers once a year. Bree, this is a constant thing. So there's always a need for stuff like that, formula, bottles. So great stuff. Thank you so much, Rose.
And she's also making a call out for anybody that might want to join the group. Again, Peba's mission is to promote bilingual, bicultural activities in the Pacific Island areas of Guam, the CNMI, Palau, the Marshall Islands, Hawaii, American Samoa, the FSM, through the development of policies, dissemination of information, involvement of the community, and encouragement of quality education programs.
And if anybody who's ever known Dr. Paloma, everybody knows she has always been about community service and advocating, inafamalig and taking care of each other. And she really epitomizes, what I call, the Antigua way of doing things. What our grandparents, taught us. And they're like, if you have the ability, you waste absolutely no time and you don't hesitate to help somebody out. You have an extra scoop of rice, give that to the other person. If you don't have anything to do at the moment, get up off your butt and go help somebody, because it will come back to you at some point, and it's just the right thing to do. And Dr. Paloma has always been about that.
Right. Well, we're going to take a break, but as we head into the break, we've got another local performance, right? For Cover Me, right, Vic?
Yep.
Who do we have?
We have, for today's Cover Me, we're going to go into Cover Me now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Let's go. So for today's Cover Me segment.
Yeah, that was Bree's way of telling you to play Cover Me.
A little bit of a hint.
And now we are going to do...
All right, here we go.
Vic, you gotta keep up, bro.
Like I said, second weekend.
In defense of Vic, because I know that Chris has been through this too. Sometimes he'll look at Bree and he's be like, okay, well that was an interesting lead, and she'd be like, and now here's Tyler with more. Sometimes he just goes right into it.
Chris and I, though, we have hand signals that we do on the side.
Right? That means I need to do laundry today.
Yeah. Well, and again, to be fair, Chris has this little indication thing where he'll give DJ Joser this little wink or nod, which basically means, okay, please turn my camera off and let Sabrina finish the rest of this interview because I gotta pee. and we worked that out over 8 months of doing this show over the pandemic. So we got all sorts of little, hints and tricks that we do here to let you guys know we're setting something up.
All right, so here we go. I got the hint, so let's go. Let's go straight into it. Here's the Cover Me segment that's being brought to you by Burger King, and we're back with another one here with the Dolls.
You guys were dancing at home. Each one of us was doing our own like little unique dance. I'm not saying it was good. I certainly know mine was like next level dork. But it reminded me of, remember the Charlie Brown Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
When they have that one thing when they start playing and like that one character's like each character is like doing their own like little weird dance and no two are like the same and they're all doing. That's what we look like.
Yeah.
I guess it's a celebration that counts. As long as you're celebrating
I swear,
in your
and
own
you're having
way.
fun with it.
Yeah.
But if somebody screen recorded that and plays that back, we are so screwed.
And it puts another, I guess, put it on TikTok and put a whole new music behind it. I don't know.
There you go.
I'm telling you guys, if you were watching that and you screen shared and everything like that, you guys have blackmail material on us for years. But it's the holidays, so it's all good.
Right. Okay, thank you, Jason. I'll tell you what, we're going to go into a break, and we're actually going to go ahead and say goodbye to our viewers on KUAM television.
Oh, real quick.
What?
Glenn just gave us a name. He said, it's the Link Twerkers.
Whoa!
Wait, did anybody? I know I wasn't. Wait, did any of you guys twerk?
I didn't twerk.
No twerker. I'm a
Jason
worker,
did,
but I ain't a twerker.
You did that dance, the TikTok. What is that? The reindeer?
I did the TikTok. That's the bunny hop.
Oh, the bunny hop. I'm sorry.
There's the whoa. There's the bunny hop.
Yeah, I still
there's
can't figure out the whoa thing.
Yeah, okay.
Not
Wait, who twerked?
Hey, don't look at me.
Was that just Glenn giving us an?
Did you twerk?
I didn't twerk. I don't even think
You're just gonna say he's twerking.
I don't even know how to twerk.
Yeah, right. No, he does the backfield in motion.
You got the backfield in motion.
And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I was not here for the party.
Not involved.
Yeah, Andy smartly turned off his camera for that segment.
He left. He was like, I'm out.
He's like, go ahead, guys. I would actually like to have a future in, broadcasting after today.
All right, let's go to a break. Again, goodbye to our viewers on KUAM television. If you are watching us on TV, join us over on 93.9 The Breeze or on Facebook. Until then, adios.
Catch the holiday soundtrack
Hafa, I'm Peter Santos.
And I'm Tyler Matinani.
Celebrate the holidays with KUAM.
Join us on Christmas Eve for KUAM's Christmas Wish with the Guam Department of Education's Gifted and Talented Education Program.
Don't miss the show scheduled for 6:30 p.m. on December 24th on KUAM TV 8 and streaming live on Facebook.
Then on Christmas night, we continue our celebration with a virtual dance experience in partnership with the Guam Allied Dance Force.
We're partnering to raise money for the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. That's 6:30 p.m. on Christmas evening only on KUAM TV 8.
It's going to be a great celebration of Christmas with music and dance, and we hope to see you there.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM and its community partners, McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, and the Guam Museum want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@KUAM.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, the Guam Museum, and KUAM Communications. Breaking news! This just in, Santa has a combined $4,000 to give away for Guam's best outdoor holiday display. Submit your outdoor display for a chance to win cash prizes. All submissions will be posted on our Facebook page, and the top 10 most liked pictures or videos wins a special cash prize to make your season even brighter. Visit KUAM.com for more details.
We're doing a good job, Guam. In the past couple of weeks, we've managed to keep the CAR score below 5. Together, we rose to the challenge when the governor asked us all to strive for 5.
In the past couple of weeks, we've not only brought the CAR score way down from being in the high 40s to below 5, we've shown the governor that we're capable of altering the course of this pandemic. We were on a path to uncertainty, but now because of all of our actions, we're doing better.
But better doesn't necessarily mean that we are out of the woods. We still need to watch our distance, wash our hands, and wear our masks. So please keep striving, Guam.
We got this.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us, use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
Catch the holiday soundtrack starting December 1st through January 5th. You'll be treated to an all-day festive playlist only on Breeze 93.9 FM. Also streaming on KUAM.com and the KUAM mobile app. Let's spread joy and holiday cheer this season. Holiday soundtrack brought to you by Domino's. Visit domino's.gu for faster, easier online ordering.
Half a day. My name is Chimamba Kwem, Tuberculosis Enhancing Disease Program Manager for the Department of Public Health. As Guam continued to deliver critical services during this unprecedented time, we must do everything in our power to protect the health and safety of our people. Continue to encourage wearing a face covering, practice social distancing and washing hands. These practices are becoming especially important as we begin to reopen our great island. Prevention saves life. For more information, please call 311 or check out our website at dphss.guam.gov.
We got your 6.
At 6 a.m. with The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM. Bree and I connect you with all the latest news and information you need to know to start your day.
Then check back with Guam's news leader at 6 p.m. for the day's top headlines with KUAM News Primetime.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and everything else in between with KUAM Digital, we got your 6.
These are some of the signs that someone is thinking about suicide. Talking about wanting to die, excessive guilt or shame, and feeling like a burden to others. Feeling empty, hopeless, trapped, or having no reason to live. Feeling extremely sad, anxious, agitated, or full of rage with unbearable emotional or physical pain. Other signs include changing behavior, such as making a plan or researching ways to die, withdrawing from friends or saying goodbye, giving away important items or making a will, taking dangerous risks such as driving extremely fast, displaying extreme mood swings, eating or sleeping more or less, and using drugs or alcohol more often. If you or someone you know is showing these warning signs, get help as soon as possible. Call Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center's crisis hotline at 647-8833 or 4.
All right, Maneka St. Nicholas, and what Christmas means to me, 8:08 and 8:02 in the morning. Here I am, just messing up.
It's gonna be 8:08
as we go. All right, so welcome back to The Link. Remember, the show probably brought to you by Calvo Enterprises and I-Teen-E. The show with your hosts here, Sabrina Salas, Matt Tanani, Andy Wheeler in the Zoom room, Jason Salas, Joe Sir, and myself, Victorious. And then to kick off the top of the hour here, I guess we jump right back into the Zoom room with the Consul General of the Federal States of Micronesia, Teresa Philippine here. Thank you so much for agreeing to come back on the I was going to say the podcast. Because I'm always used to saying the podcast. But thank you for...
Vic, didn't you just recently do a One Micronesia podcast with Teresa? I was listening to it. Great stuff, guys.
Man, I don't know about this guy, Vic. You know, I keep telling him people are tired of seeing my face already.
No, not at all.
Could never
From
be
what I was
tired.
listening to, I mean, you know, what you guys are doing is really important. Getting this information out to the community. making sure that nothing gets lost in translation, that everybody knows exactly what's going on. So I think it's a super valuable service that you provide. So thank you for that.
That's the goal of the message. Yeah, thank you. That's the whole intention, to make sure that everybody understands what's going on, at least, and in the language that we speak too.
Yeah, because I mean, there's just certain things that, you know, in English, oh, it said this, but oh, we don't have a term for that in, you know, my language, or and so just being able to get those concepts across, and, you know, especially in a community that's been hit so hard by this, it's got to be tough.
And so, Teresa, if
Vic,
you
you're
could,
up.
No, go for it, Bree. Go for it, Bree. It's like, yeah, Bree, go for it.
No, I just wanted to catch up with Teresa and see what kind of public awareness campaigns you guys have got going on. We had the community mass testing. We haven't seen the rapid engagement team in action. They've been extremely busy now that we've got the vaccinations rolling out. And again, as I mentioned, the mass testing with the Bionex card kits. So, Teresa, yeah, if you could provide an update.
Yeah, the next step right now is to make sure that people are aware about the vaccine and the, you know, when it rolls out into the general public, what their options are. So we're putting together a plan, and we're going to be engaging with the Department of Public Health very closely on that. I have some very good contacts at the Department of Public Health, and they've been extremely helpful in the past few months during this whole pandemic. So, and this is, of course, is going to be a continuation of that collaborative effort. We will need to get out there, make sure that people have all the information that they need to know about the vaccine. And when it comes, you know, when it's ready for everybody, you know, what their options are as far as, you know, getting vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was talking to Vic off air, and he was telling me about what's happening in the FSM, right, Vic? And you were telling me how it is COVID free.
Yes.
And
amongst, I believe right now, amongst 11 countries in the world that is COVID free till this day.
And in the FSM, are they rolling out the vaccinations this week?
Yes, the word from the president's office is there's an order in place, and they should be receiving that order pretty soon, before Christmas, I was told.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're very excited about that. People have, that are stranded abroad, been waiting to go home for the past 10 months or so. So this is very good news for the FSM and its citizens that are stranded abroad. So as soon as the vaccine is rolled out, both in the FSM and outside, and very good news for the stranded citizens.
Right.
Is there a plan in place? Because we know that once these restrictions get lifted and people start going home, are you going to have, just to be safe, a quarantine, or are you going to ramp up testing?
Most definitely. That's, the whole purpose behind the lockdown, the entire lockdown, is because, the leaders want to keep the country safe as much as possible. As you may be aware, we don't have, the capacity in terms of facility, healthcare, and all of that to be able to treat or care for COVID-19. So that's the whole plan. Once this rolls out, of course, there's going to be measures in place to ensure that the country stays COVID-free.
Mm-hmm. What is the latest from President Panuelo? I remember there was the release that came out from his office a couple weeks ago about the cancellation of the repatriation flight. I want to say it was scheduled for December 14th or 15th, something like that. And it was because
December 5th.
December 5th, and it was because of concerns about COVID. But has there been any other information? Because we do have FSM citizens that are stranded here that haven't been able to go home.
We have quite a lot actually. FSM citizens that are stranded here, those that left the country to seek medical care or have graduated from their higher ed and wants to go back home, or were on vacation and now they're going back home, and because of the lockdown they were stranded here. So there was an effort in place to repatriate some of our citizens, especially the medical referrals, because there were some, issues with the quarantine capacity and the healthcare professionals that were available or have the training to be able to carry case to take care of any person in case they test positive when in country. So there was a last minute cancellation in place because, like I said, the FSM really want to ensure that the country stays safe from the virus. So it was a very tough decision on the president's part, but it is a decision that has ultimately goes to his stance this whole time that the country stays COVID free.
And how are the ones that are stranded here? How are they doing? I mean, the holidays, we're in the thick of it right now, and I know that there have been donations, especially for the students up at UOG,
Yeah.
right? How are they doing, and are you guys still needing donations?
We still have some supplies that we have been giving out a lot of supplies, and I want to give a shout out to the FSM Congress. They've been very, very helpful in approving some funds for the office to use towards stranded citizens. There's a couple of organizations on island. There's a PS Smart in Jigo that has been very helpful as well, and Bank of Guam, as always, have really come out and supported the office in putting together some food items, food commodity, and even PPEs to distribute to the stranded citizens. Not only stranded citizens, but also other FSM residents of Guam that need the little help. So we've been doing that, giving out donations. The government just recently released its second batch of financial assistance to stranded citizens, and we're in the midst right now of issuing checks and payments to these individuals. $1,000 for an individual and $1,500 for a family, traveling back to the FSM and our stock here. So it's great news for our stranded citizens here. The President's Office and the FSM Congress has been very instrumental in ensuring that nobody's forgotten at this time, especially during the holidays.
And what
with that assistance are there people that can still apply for it, or are you trying to reach out, making that call out there? Because we'd love to help get the word out.
Yes. Basically, everybody that has been here this whole time, they're aware of this because they either have been calling the office or been keeping up to date on what's being posted from the President's Office on their Facebook page. So we've been, very tied up, receiving calls, assisting with applications, and now that the payments are ready, giving those out. So, pretty much it's a small community, and, word of mouth, is really helpful. But I think as everything with this pandemic is just it's just has been terrible and complicated for a lot of people. But it is what it is, and the government is helping. How it's we're a struggling government, but we're helping however we can. And there's been a lot of great donations from our foreign partners that's been pouring into the government. So they in turn are releasing those out to the community.
How many FSM citizens are stranded here on Guam?
The last count that our office has, a little bit over 300, but I'm sure there are still some out there that haven't registered with our office. So, we've been sharing, passing out information. If anybody is stranded on Guam, please register with us. So we have your name down in case for this type of assistance, or when flights do open, then, we know who needs to go home.
Well, where are you guys in gaining ground? We had Kaz Nakamura on a couple weeks ago, Vice President of Chuukese Association of Guam. He contracted COVID. And he was saying that one of the things, one of the fears that people in the FSM community have fears of going out and getting tested for COVID-19, and it's something that he's truly trying to encourage the community to do. So where are you guys in gaining ground in spreading that message and encouraging residents to get tested?
That was one of our main activities a couple of months back. I think a little bit before June, when there was that spike in confirmed cases. And then we were, we really revamped our efforts in getting out to the community. I think we've enlisted a couple of news outlets and even, turned to social media to get the information out there about the importance of getting tested, not just for your own safety, but everybody that you interact with. And we've had, we've seen the numbers, and they were alarming at one point regarding the FSM community. So we were on top of it. I hope, or I think, we were able to get the message out. We worked very closely with public health, with the, reaching out into the community, offering free testing so that people can go and get tested. That was one of the, the main concerns that kept arising, that, accessibility to free testing. So that was what, that was the main effort back then. I think we were able to test a lot of our folks in the northern villages. We had three occasions when we were, just targeting the FSM community. Cass Nakamura, he's a good friend, and also not only he's the president of he's also the president of the FSM Association of Guam. So he has a big hat in that area where he needs to get the message out there, and especially having contracted the virus himself. So he's speaking from personal experience, and that was very big of him to come out and talk to people about it.
Yeah, he's just a great guy. And I remember when we had actually wanted to get him on the show, and we spoke to his wife, and we at the time we didn't know that he was in the hospital, and it was just a coincidence that we called his wife, and she told us the story, and so I'm just glad he's okay.
We are too. We were praying for him. Really, he's he plays a big role in our association efforts, and when we learned that he tested positive and was hospitalized, it was just difficult for our community.
Mm-hmm. All right, Teresa, is there anything else you wanted to get out?
Like I keep telling Vic, I think people are just tired of me already.
No way.
Again.
I told her no.
The people are so grateful that they have someone like you fighting for them, making sure they are informed, safe. So, on behalf of all the community, I want to thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, I want to thank KUAM, and especially Vic and Chris, and you, Sabrina and Jason. You guys have been very helpful, and you've been helpful, especially in getting the message out and not lost in translation, like mentioned earlier. We've had some issues with the media, several times back, but I think you guys are. You've been very helpful and very understanding. Right. So thank you, and really appreciate this. I just want to, to our FSM residents of Guam, a very Merry Christmas and safe. Be safe out there. Although the vaccine is out and going to be released soon to the general public, that doesn't mean that we're going to do away with our masks and all of the, the safety guidelines that is being put out there. Continue to practice your social distancing and personal hygiene, and wear your mask while out in public, not just for your own safety, but for everybody that you encounter. So thank you all very much, and happy holidays.
All right. Thank you, Teresa. Stay safe. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Bye.
Bye. We are going to stay in the Zoom room where we have Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio joining us for our weekly check-in and progress report. Good morning, LT.
Good morning, Sabrina, and good morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas.
So what do you have for us this week? I know you got a press conference at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so today we'll be basically announcing some details about our efforts to support distance learning. And even though, we're trying to work towards the goal of face-to-face, and even though there are parents that may agree to face-to-face. There's a large number of parents that are not comfortable because of the situation, their own household. So this effort is to try and make sure we have different ways that we could get and extend connectivity to households. And so we'll be pushing out some details there. That also includes, some relief for students at the University of Guam and Guam Community College that will be able to reach them as well. And then bringing on a new model, or I guess access to a new facility called Community Learning Centers that we'll talk about as well. So I just want to say that it has been many weeks and months of planning and working with the Guam Department of Education as we address all sorts of things because of the pandemic. But we'll continue to do our best and continue to try and push resources through a pipeline to get out there. I think that my observation is that it's been a very stressful time for students, for everybody. Yeah. But this year, including the tail end of the last school year, there's no question that there's a big negative effect, a harm really to all the students globally. There's a lot of time that is going to be taken to kind of bring them back and catch them up because they've been basically losing so much time and a lot of time with each other, right? A lot of, I think the essential thing for school also is the socialization and trying to prepare for that as we head into this new phase, but also keeping an eye on what's happening outside the borders with the increased numbers going on throughout the country, some concerns in our own region. And then, of course, this new thing out in Europe that, as we know, our world is so small that things can sneak into your place, even though they originate thousands and thousands of miles away. So I think it's really a balance. But really, this morning, we'll be focusing on trying to support the students.
So the 10 a.m. press conference, I want to say this is going to be what we have been talking about, or what you've been talking about on the link regarding those expanded access, like at the libraries. I think the subsidies, is that correct?
That's right. And basically indication that we've initiated and DOE is beginning, taking the lead in the procurement process. So it's about $12 million that we're focusing in to support online learning in different phases, all the way from the university down to the schools, all schools, including private schools and charter schools. So that's pretty much the focus. But the work with DOE, they're preparing for their board meeting on the 22nd, and we've been spending a considerable amount of time with the superintendent and his team to support all of the different things. So, for example, there is a return of Department of Education employees. They're returning from Guam Department of Public Health back into DOE. And I think that, first of all, I want to say I'm very grateful and thankful that the school health counselors and the social workers and the school attendance officers in the early part were really doing their share to supplement our forces. I don't think that we could be able to expand the kind of community health that we did without their support. So they're all basically on the return back to the Department of Education. I think it's very helpful that they are very well experienced with doing the testing, with doing contact tracing, with the surveillance and investigation. They're all trained, so it's going to help them as we open school, return people to campuses. And I'm hopeful that by the time we do it, and the governor will likely authorize openings, but the decision and the method of opening is going to be left to all the school administrators, the school board through DOE, and then each of the governing bodies of the private schools and the charter schools. So we're kind of like working on that front. School bus continues. We just had a meeting with Department of Education and Public Works on Friday to address school operations, and the next round that outreach will continue with the private schools this week, with Public Works talking about their support. And of course, with them, there's a little different issue, because unlike the public schools in which the buses are transporting the students from their villages straight to the schools, in the private schools, there's a bus interchange, an exchange, where the multiple schools have students in neighborhoods that come into an exchange. And I think that's where there's a bit more planning and coordination that is needed. And I would say that's still in the works to support that, but the Director of Public Works is pretty confident that he could provide that support as we roll into this option. And I just want to say again that a lot of parents and families are concerned about their children going into school. So I would tell them that this is their choice. The choice is going to be theirs based on their situations. I know a lot of people have seniors living in their homes, multi-generational homes, so there's additional risk for exposure. But I think the point is to try and figure out how we can reduce that amount of stress and give the parents and or the guardians the decision-making authority over their own lives on how best to meet the educational needs of the students. And I think that's the thing, because there's a lot of anticipation. I'm hopeful that with the different with the amount of vaccines that are going to be coming in. We had the vaccine committee meet last night, so I'm waiting to hear what their recommendations are. But there's a priority for school-based staff to get vaccinated, to have the option to vaccinate, because as we know at this time, vaccinations are also voluntary. People need to be comfortable and be able to absorb the information and make their choices. But I'd say, based on everything I've been seeing, I do support and encourage people to get vaccinated and make that choice. But of course, make that choice when they're ready.
I wanted to ask you about that, Lieutenant Governor. We know that you had the COVID, and so has there been any update on when possibly you'll be able to get the vaccine or the antibodies, anything like that?
Well, I think allegedly we have antibodies, but we're just not sure how long they last. And I think that the one of the screening things that they're using to determine priority for vaccines is that they really try and, I believe, screen out people who have had COVID within 90 days from the point that they've been offered to be vaccinated. So for me personally, I guess I'm waiting in line based on what the committee says and the order of the population that's going forward. And there's a lot of, that they need to get further into the order of the critical employees, right? Because we have, I said the school-based staff, that it probably includes, and if you're looking at the CDC guidelines, they're looking at transportation workers. They're looking at grocery employees that work at grocery stores, people that have a very high interaction with the general public. So we don't have all the doses at this time to support everything, but that's the purpose of them folding in the different priorities. So there is still, that I think that that's still active. And I just say that even though a healthcare worker, for example, decides that they do not want to vaccinate in this first round, if and when they do, they'll be able to fall right in at any point in time that they wish, since this vaccine effort is going to be lasting for months and months. So I think that a lot of it will be based too on the amount of supply that we get. And we've been fortunate, if you've been watching national news, a lot of the states have been upset with reduced amounts of vaccines that were given, and there seemed to have been some sort of distribution planning error that General Perna, who's in charge of Operation Warp Speed, talked about. But we in Guam have been fortunate to maintain the supply based on what we have been anticipating and what we've expected. And then I think that operation has been going well. It went over through the weekend, and we'll be getting an update in a few minutes on how things go and how they roll out the next phase of the priorities for the vaccine. But I'm an advocate of getting media vaccinated as part of that essential worker. And I really do think it's going to be helpful for the general public to see folks that they are familiar with. And it's interesting, right? Because there are people that you don't know that know you very well. They are dependent on you for their schedule in the morning, and you have a lot of influence on them. So when they see your comfort level and your own decision-making process, I do think it's going to be positive for the effort to educate people on the vaccine.
Right, and Crystal was talking about that.
Yet, for me, but when I do it, I'll definitely do it publicly and part of that group to help encourage people to do it.
Well, I know Crystal was talking about that yesterday, that there was discussions about 2 representatives from each media outlet to possibly get the vaccine. And I know that some of us are ready to join the vaccination. So just let us know. Let us know when, and we'll step up.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bit more sooner than later. That's my observation based on everything I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking
it's like the media Hunger Games with the vaccination. Like we can only nominate 2. I volunteer as tribute.
LT, what is the update on Moderna?
Well, Moderna, I believe that we haven't received our first shipment yet, but as I understand it, the Moderna vaccines are all being boxed and being distributed. And I don't have any real-time information about that yet. Guam Public Health may have, but I haven't heard it yet. But I imagine that we'll know very, very soon when that shipment will come.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, the shipment for the Pfizer was kind of a surprise. JQ was saying, we don't know, we'll and then it just showed up.
It came in earlier than we had anticipated. It's so interesting because it came in on a Dreamliner. There's very few times that a Dreamliner has actually landed on Guam. Those are the 787s. And I thought, when I was up there, I thought, thank God we have the runway to receive it. It was a direct flight from San Francisco. Yeah. So we know we have capacity to receive direct
exactly.
I mean, those are all critical things as part of the distribution points, but it's also kind of like good thinking for us as we look towards the future and things stabilize and we try and increase our capacity to travel outside and into Guam in the future when it's safe. But yeah, I was excited that a United 787 came to Guam. Wow. That's good.
Big time. Yeah. I know it's almost impossible to say, but is there any rough idea of when you guys are looking to have all of the people on Guam that want to be vaccinated?
Well, the guess right now, the guesstimate and the projection, even nationally, is into June, into the summer. But if the United States, if our central government, or if our federal government increases their purchase of the vaccine supplies and the production of the supplies is expanded, I believe that we'll probably need it closer. And just listening and monitoring the federal effort, I really do think that chances are that could be expanded in the next administration. That seems to be the buzz. And if you're looking at the Congress, there seems to be a lot more movement to try and support vaccination efforts. So, we'll stay in tune, but I definitely would tell you that the partnership with Department of Defense is critical here in making sure we get that support. And in some cases, the prioritization. And this is where also our size in our island is an advantage, where we could propose and try and get the federal government to agree that fast track availability of vaccination doses to get to that point of herd immunity is much more likelier in our island with our controlled border than many communities in the States. But in order to get there, the general population and a significant percentage of them need to feel comfortable getting the vaccine. So the effort to get media and influencers in to get vaccinated, for people to see what that's about, and help with the comfort level probably will be key if we're going to be aggressive trying to get to that, to get widespread acceptance and widespread vaccination. But I think, to me, that would be a goal that I'd like to pursue.
Your press conference is at 10. We just got word that the congressman is going to be holding a press conference at 11 on COVID relief. Have you had any chance to talk with him on what's
I
going to be
haven't
happening?
talked to him. I know the governor and he have been communicating, and I mean, obviously, I think that if the congressman's going to be giving a press conference at 11, it's great news. That means that the House and the Senate would be voting and passing the relief package, and I'll be viewing it just like you and optimistic about finally a compromise package, and the first, I think, of several packages to come in, but certainly something that is going to be needed, especially for the large amount of people that are depending on the temporary unemployed assistance. I think people are also going to be looking forward to the second stimulus that has been authorized. I know that Daphne Shimuzu and the over at Revenue Tax has been prepared and is prepared as soon as the Treasury Department has to get into law. The Treasury Department has to get them. Yeah. There's a process, but since we've done this already, I'm very optimistic that and confident we would release it the fastest way possible. Right. But yeah, so I would say it's 11 o'clock press conference by the congressman. It's a definite indication that the federal relief package is going to likely would have been passed by then.
I wanted to get back to the Department of Education because you had mentioned the governor's likely to authorize face-to-face. GDOE is expected at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Our Guam Education Board is holding a meeting at 3 o'clock, and everybody's kind of waiting to see if the announcement is going to be made, because the decision, according to John, was going to be announced today on what they were going to do. So
I'd just say that we've been working and planning with the affirmative assumption that the governor would authorize face-to-face learning, the early part right after the new year. And so that's been the planning assumption that we have. And of course, the final moments for her to do that will always depend on what the situation is in the community. So over the last week, and I would expect over the next week, as we slowly continue to relax restrictions, we also are making sure we monitor it so that and monitor the numbers so that we can make the best possible decision to authorize school openings. And if things get out of hand over the holiday spirit and too many people are being a little bit too merry, then, I would say that we wouldn't be likely to relax anymore or to open. So really, it's going to be in the community's hands. And I think that our community can do it. They proved it with the Strive for 5, and they proved it by maintaining the levels of infection, reducing it. But as we know from the past, right, anything can happen, and this thing can overtake us, similar to what has happened throughout the country right now. So I would say, I expect, and we've been very coordinated with Department of Education for them to operate under the assumption that that would happen. It's always planned for the best, but make sure that but if something does happen, we would definitely make sure that safety is number one in driving the decision. And so that's what I'd say is, they're definitely operating under the assumption, and I would expect them to look for a date, assuming that the authorization is there from the governor. But if anything goes wrong, that authorization wouldn't be issued.
Anything on the homeless situation?
So right now, we've been focusing on really trying to get from the community some supplies and some gifts for the families that are at the shelter. We are still in active acquisition mode, I guess, where we're having a refresh on the procurement to try and go back out. We do need to acquire another shelter. I would just say that we're grateful that we have the global shelter. But quite frankly, it's not a building that I would like people to stay in there for a long period of time. You know, the fact that it doesn't have any recreational space for kids, the fact that, you know, that there's just some limitations. It's an older building. You know, we want to make sure that the shelter we acquire, you know, is at least going to be comfortable for folks that are trying to stabilize their lives while we try and figure out longer housing needs for them, housing options. So that's kind of like we need to go somewhere. And I just say that's been complicated, but we're still going at it. Right now, though, I just want to give a shout out to a whole bunch of private individuals that have stepped forward and organizations that since July have stepped forward. Everybody from the Lions Club to the Guam Bar Association, various church communities have been gathering. I also have a group of ladies that are sort of like anonymous, but they're from Santa Rita, and you know, they don't want to be named, but you know, they're doing things like getting baby clothes and things like that, and trying to push it. So, you know, that we have a large number of kids up there, but we also have a confined amount of space. And like I said, baby formula and diapers have been a big need. I will always say that if people are looking to give and they're trying to figure it out, supporting the formula and diapers would be excellent. And you can do that contacting my office or Catholic Social Services, who is our partner and is operating the shelter on behalf of the government of Guam. But, you know, if we're close to it, I think that, you know, a lot of people have stepped up. There's some gifts coming in, but I would always say the things that always get used up fast, but they're so critical, is the baby formula and the diapers. I definitely focus the ask on that. And then we'll meet with the homeless, with the Interagency Council on Homelessness next week for our final meeting before the new year. And then we'll continue our meeting after that. And that's kind of like it right now. Focus right now on making sure that folks in the shelter at least are supported and have the spirit of Christmas there.
All right. Anything else, LT?
No, I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I'm looking forward to getting this year over with. I can't wait. I think all of us are in the same boat. And I just ask everybody, as we continue to enjoy this little less stress right now, right? Some people are very stressful because of their economic situation, the business owners. But I tell you right now, in your household, you know, there are less people that are sick, but, you know, let's not blow it. Let's continue to hold in place, be very careful about what you decide to do in the holidays. Make sure you do the responsible thing. And, but, you know, let's look to a brighter year next year, and look forward to speaking with you at our year-end call next week, Sabrina and Andy.
All right. We do already have Brandon Santos. Where's the shelter at, LT? For people who don't know, and also give out your number.
Sure. So 473-1110 is the number for my office. And then the shelter is at Global Dorm, but I would tell you in my team, but I would direct you to channel your donations to Catholic Social Services, and they can best organize it and make sure that they place it in the right places and it gets to the right people. So those are two things. Or, like I said, you can call my chambers at 473-1110. Thank you, Brandon. And thank you, Guam.
All right. And thank you, LT. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
All right.
Merry Christmas and your first Christmas as a married man.
I'll make the most of it.
Make sure you don't mess up on the gift, Andy.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Don't worry.
Get advice from Sabrina if I were you. Don't wing it on your own. Take care.
All right. Take care. We'll see you next week. All right, that was Lieutenant Governor. Again, he's making the call out. If you'd like to make a donation, they really need donations over at Global Dorms, especially for the infants, 0 to 24 months, formula, baby diapers, also toys for the children over at the homeless shelter. That's at Global
Yeah, we
Dorms.
talked to Rosa earlier, Pacific Island Bilingual Bicultural Association. They're making those donations that are going to Catholic Social Services, which are going to the Global Dorm. So you can go through Rosa and the association. You can go straight to Catholic Social Services, like the LT said. And we mentioned these diapers. This is not just a Christmas present. This is something that they need 365 days a year. And Bree, you know that just as well as anybody, that we got to keep those supplies coming in. So when you're going out to buy a pack of diapers for the grandkids, maybe get an extra one. I know they're a little pricey, but every little package is going to go a long way. So donate what you can.
Right. The number for his office, if you do want to make a donation, 473-1110. 473-1110, or also you can contact Catholic Social Services. And as he mentioned, there will be a press conference at 10 o'clock that Lieutenant Governor and the Guam Department of Education will be hosting to talk about this expanded access to Wi-Fi for distance learning. And it's not just for GDOE, but it's also for private and charter schools. But there's also another press conference at 11 o'clock that the congressman is going to be hosting, and we'll share the live stream as well. He's going to be making announcements about the COVID relief programs that's currently before Congress. That is at 11 o'clock, so he'll provide further details. And then at 3 o'clock, the Guam Education Board, they're going to be holding a meeting, and they're going to be announcing the decision on face-to-face learning. So it's going to be a really big news day and really, really busy. So we're going to take a break, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Tomorrow Christmas music. Today, I'm Peter Santos.
And I'm Tyler Matinani.
Celebrate the holidays with KUAM.
Join us on Christmas Eve for KUAM's Christmas Wish with the Guam Department of Education's Gifted and Talented Education Program.
Don't miss the show scheduled for 6:30 p.m. on December 24th on KUAM TV 8 and streaming live on Facebook.
Then on Christmas night, we continue our celebration with a virtual dance experience in partnership with the Guam Allied Dance Force.
We're partnering to raise money for the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. That's 6:30 p.m. on Christmas evening only on KUM TV 8.
It's going to be a great celebration of Christmas with music and dance, and we hope to see you there.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
We're doing a good job, Guam. In the past couple of weeks, we've managed to keep the CAR score below 5. Together, we rose to the challenge when the governor asked us all to strive for 5.
In the past couple of weeks, we've not only brought the CAR score way down from being in the high 40s to below 5, we've shown the governor that we're capable of altering the course of this pandemic. We were on a path to uncertainty, but now because of all of our actions, we're doing better.
But better doesn't necessarily mean that we are out of the woods. We still need to watch our distance, wash our hands, and wear our masks. So please keep striving, Guam.
We got this.
the holiday soundtrack starting December 1st through January 5th. You'll be treated to an all-day festive playlist only on Breeze 93.9 FM. Also streaming on KUAM.com and the KUAM mobile app. Let's spread joy and holiday cheer this season. Holiday soundtrack brought to you by Domino's. Visit domino's.gu for faster, easier online ordering. Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM and its community partners, McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, and the Guam Museum want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@KUAM.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from McDonald's of Guam, Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Office of the Governor, Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, the Guam Museum, and KUAM Communications. Breaking news! This just in, Santa has a combined $4,000 to give away for Guam's best outdoor holiday display. Submit your outdoor display for a chance to win cash prizes. All submissions will be posted on our Facebook page, and the top 10 most liked pictures or videos wins a special cash prize to make your season even brighter. Visit KUAM.com for more details.
We got your 6.
At 6 a.m. with the link on Breeze 93.9 FM. Bree and I connect you with all the latest news and information you need to know to start your day.
Then check back with Guam's news leader at 6 p.m. for the day's top headlines with KUAM News Primetime.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and everything else in between with KUAM Digital, we got your 6.
Working our, what's this thing called again, Bree? Maracha? Is it Maracha?
Caracas?
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 Maracha.
Maracas or Maracas? Maracas. Close enough, okay?
We'll take that. All right.
I really hope our interviewing skills are way better than our geography knowledge.
All right, 8 minutes away from 9 o'clock in the morning. We're back here with the link. Remember, this show probably brought to you by Calvo Enterprises and I-Teen-E. Let's go straight into the Zoom room where Andy is standing by with our next interviewee. Andy, take it away, brother.
All right, I'm here in the Zoom room, like you said, where all the cool kids hang out, obviously. And we've got Natalie Kanata joining us, and we wanted to bring you on because, you know, so much during this year, we've seen numbers, we've seen statistics, and a lot of people, fortunately, have not been affected directly by this, but, you know, we know of someone that knows of someone. But not everyone is that fortunate. Natalie going to share her story about a lot of infections in the family. So Natalie, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. My family took direct infection to a completely different level. So at the beginning of November, just like every member of my family, one by one, started testing positive. So it started with my dad and his sister, and then it went to my mom, then went to my dad's other sister. And the crazy thing about all of that is we don't gather. My dad had open heart surgery last year. I had an aneurysm a few years ago. So gathering, going out without masks, that's not something my mom allows us to do. Like lockdown has got nothing on my mom. So
and that's what we wanted to talk to you about, and that's what, you know, makes this story really hit close to home, is that your family was so safe. You know that there's high risk individuals in the family, and you took all those precautions. I mean, you know, you had, like you said, mom with the iron fist locking everybody down, and still this infection crept it into your family, and it just goes to show how infectious this actually is.
Yeah, and you can never really know where it's coming from. And what are you going to do? You're going to sit there with your family and point fingers and blame each other? You can't really do that. You kind of just got to pull together and get through it. So about a week after my dad tested positive, he was hospitalized. So first it was my aunt, who, she's a nurse. So she has an oximeter. So she was, you know, watching everything. She knew her body. And then she decided it was time to go. So she went into the hospital and they admitted her. And the next day she called my parents and she said, go now, don't wait. And, you know, my dad, he's, you know, older tomorrow man. He was like, I'm fine. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. But no, it's such a good thing that he went, because he was already developing pneumonia. So
it's brutal. And, you know, we've heard so much about the people that get it. They're asymptomatic, they recover, they're fine, no issues. But that's one thing, is we just don't know how this is going to affect people. And, you know, you mentioned it, that stubbornness, oh, I'll shake it off, I'll be fine. But also, when it hits hard.
Yeah. And also the other thing is, you know, we're tomorrow. There's that whole Mamalo thing. You know, I was at my uncle's house one night, and then 4 people showed up, and I was like, oh my God. And then you're kind of not allowed to say, I'm leaving. But then, you know, we just went through some crazy things. So I was like, peace out. I'm going. Happy holidays. So it's kind of, you gotta put your foot down.
Thankfully, everyone is still with us. You still have your family. It was rough to get through, but tell us how everyone is recovering.
Yeah. My dad had 2 of his siblings. I'm sorry? What was that again?
Tell us how everyone's recovering.
Okay, so my dad he's calling himself a long hauler. He's still really weak. You know, he cooks a little here and there, but he's got to take a break in between. My other aunts, they're still, you know, one is back to work, but she's still struggling. It's tough to get through a day once you have this. So I don't know how long they're going to be like this, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of people want to spin this and just focus on the deaths, as tragic as they are, and how small that number is. But as you know, there's the people that make it through this, they're not going to fall into that statistic, but this is something that affects them quite a bit.
Yeah, and I wonder about the other people. So my family, like, we're really lucky. My dad is retired military, so he was at Naval Hospital. So for other people who don't have insurance, like, what happens to them after this? The symptoms, they're going to last a while. So what's the long-term prognosis for that, and how are they going to get care? So there's a lot of things to consider.
So how much of this I told you so has mom been throwing at you guys?
Oh my God, my poor mom. She could have, because we couldn't really figure, there's no point in trying to trace where exactly it came from. Those few weeks were just like, nobody went anywhere. My two sons got it. Here's another funny thing. My two sons got it. Both my parents had it. My brother and I never test positive. So there's always that false negative, issue going on. And that was really scary because I thought I was okay because I tested negative. We thought everything was fine. And then I tested 4 times negative. And then a couple weeks later, my son tests positive. And it's like, how does that even happen? We co-sleep. My 3-year-old sleeps in the same bed as me. How is it that he got it and I didn't?
How difficult was that? I mean, how with your boys testing positive?
So my oldest son is 19 and my youngest is 3.
Okay.
And 3-year-old, COVID had nothing on him. He had a cough, but that was about it. But just the thought that they had it, I don't think I slept for a few days. So.
Mm. And your
he's doing great. Everyone's doing fine now, though.
Your sisters, I think it said that your sisters also.
Oh, my dad's sisters. Yeah.
Your dad. Oh, your aunts. Okay.
Yeah, and so my dad, his 2 sisters, and also my dad's brother. But this was they contracted it a while ago. So it's like you can follow all the rules, you can take all the precautions, but you just never know.
Mm-hmm. That's us.
And we're creeping up. I mean, just a couple days away from Christmas, and you've got to be so happy that your family members are still here. Yeah, it's a rough road, but everyone's still with you. So
absolutely,
we're pretty grateful for that.
It's gonna be a lonely Christmas, just like it was for Thanksgiving.
And that's just what we all have to do this year. We've got to adjust our plans. We can't have those big gatherings because, like you've said, like you experienced, you never know how this is going to affect you, your family, grandma, mom, dad, everyone. So you just have to be safe.
Especially your parents. Look out for your parents. If you've got family, if you know anyone that's been exposed, or if you know anyone that has it, check on them. If it wasn't for my Ninas and my aunts dropping food tests, every day, I don't know what we would have done. So
what do you want the people know now that we're really putting a face to this infection and seeing how it directly affects families? What do you want to say to the people?
Really stay vigilant. Know your body. If you think you've got a cold, manage those symptoms. I think that's probably what kept my brother and I going was I even though I tested negative, I started to feel a little bit, but you take those meds, pop the Dayquil, pop the Tylenol, get some rest, but also get up and do some exercises. That's kind of like the bar. So if you know that you can do 10 jumping jacks without breathing hard, that's good. Keep doing that. And the second that you can't do 5, go to the hospital. Try to wait. Don't overburden the hospital. Don't make things more difficult for yourself. Just get the care you need.
If the vaccine and when the vaccine is offered to the community, would you take it?
I would take it before I let my boys take it. That's for sure. But I think I would. And I hope at least half of Guam considers it. So the more we have vaccinated, the safer the rest of us are. So.
All right, Natalie. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Really appreciate it. Is there any final message, I guess, to the people of Guam?
Just stay vigilant. Watch out for your parents. Watch out for your grandparents. And just remember, you can follow the rules, but you just never know. So be prepared.
Thanks for sharing your story, Natalie. We're glad everyone made it through this, and we know there's still going to be problems. But like you said, we're glad they're here. Don't go visit them for Christmas, but be thankful that they're still around.
All right.
Well, thanks, Natalie.
Thanks, Nat.
Thank you, guys. Happy holidays and stay safe out there.
All right, Merry
safe.
Christmas.
You too. You too.
All right, stay tuned to the link. We'll have more after the break.
We're doing a good job, Guam. In the past couple of weeks, we've managed to keep the CAR score below 5. Together, we rose to the challenge when the governor asked us all to strive for 5.
In the past couple of weeks, we've not only brought the CAR score way down from being in the high 40s to below 5, we've shown the governor that we're capable of altering the course of this pandemic. We were on a path to uncertainty, but now because of all of our actions, we're doing better.
But better doesn't necessarily mean that we are out of the woods. We still need to watch our distance, wash our hands, and wear our masks. So please keep striving, Guam.
We got this.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Hafa, I'm Peter Santos.
And I'm Tyler Matinani.
Celebrate the holidays with KUAM.
Join us on Christmas Eve for KUAM's Christmas Wish with the Guam Department of Education's Gifted and Talented Education Program.
Don't miss the show scheduled for 6:30 p.m. on December 24th on KUAM TV 8 and streaming live on Facebook.
Then on Christmas night, we continue our celebration with a virtual dance experience in partnership with the Guam Allied Dance Force.
We're partnering to raise money for the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. That's 6:30 p.m. on Christmas evening only on KUAM TV 8.
It's going to be a great celebration of Christmas with music and dance, and we hope to see you there.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us, use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
Catch the holiday soundtrack starting December 1st through January 5th. You'll be treated to an all-day festive playlist only on Breeze 93.9 FM. Also streaming on KUAM.com and the KUAM mobile app. Let's spread joy and holiday cheer this season. Holiday soundtrack is brought to you by Domino's. Visit domino's.gu for faster, easier online ordering.
We got your 6.
At 6 a.m. with the link on Breeze 93.9 FM. Bree and I connect you with all the latest news and information you need to know to start your day.
Then check back with Guam's news leader at 6 p.m. for the day's top headlines with KUAM News Primetime.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and everything else in between with KUAM Digital, we got your 6.
We got your 6.
At 6 a.m. with The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM. Bree and I connect you with all the latest news and information you need to know to start your day.
Then check back with Guam's news leader at 6 p.m. for the day's top headlines with KUAM News Primetime.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and everything else in between with KUAM Digital, we got your 6.
Serena and Paige and Zach Fenmotu from Live Local Fridays, 9/11 in the morning. We're back here with The Link. Remember, this show probably brought to you by Calvo Enterprises, IT&E, and we're back with your host, Sabrina Salas Matanani.
Right, and as I mentioned, it's going to be a big news day today, 10 o'clock. There is a press conference that the Lieutenant Governor and Guam DOE Superintendent John Fernandez will be holding to discuss expanded internet access for public school students, charter school students, and private school students. 11 o'clock, Congressman Michaelson Nicholas will be holding a press conference where he will be talking about the latest COVID relief bill. And then at 3 o'clock, the Guam Education Board, they're going to be meeting and hopefully making the final announcement on where they are with the return to face-to-face learning for public schools. We're now going to head into the Zoom room where we have Senator Clint Rigel with us on the line. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
Good morning. I know you've got a busy day with the legislature, but I wanted to bring you in and get your thoughts on what's been happening, this whole debate on with the Cannabis Control Board, the Guam Visitors Bureau, businesses, leaders in Tumon regarding marijuana in Tumon. And what are you hearing? Have they reached out to you to discuss this?
No, not particularly. They haven't reached out to me. They've sent some letters, I believe, to the Speaker's office, so that gets disseminated to all the legislatures. So just in general, they have sent a letter to the legislature.
But
concerns, yeah.
Have you been tracking though the debate and the back and forth?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I disagree with them and their concerns. As a matter of fact, one of the things that that's a bit confusing is that the Guam Visitors Bureau already conducted an economic impact study that they conducted. And I saw some members of GVB made some mention where they kind of said, oh, that was the Cannabis Control Board's economic impact study. That's false. It was not the Cannabis Control Board's economic impact study. It's GVB's economic impact study. I have a copy of it. In fact, it says the study was prepared for GVB. And the reason I know it's GVB's study is because that study was mandated by the Cannabis Industry Act. So what happened was, to be fair, GVB was opposed to legalizing cannabis in the first place. They were. When I introduced the bill, they did testify in opposition to cannabis for the same reasons that they're saying now. They said, but back then they were saying, we don't know what the impacts will be to tourism. We're concerned about the impacts to tourism. We're afraid it might cause problems with tourism. So when we legalized it, we included a provision in the law that says, okay, fine, we're going to legalize it, but it's going to take at least a year for the Cannabis Control Board to finish the rules and regulations. So before they complete their rules and regulations and before it can be sold, you guys do an economic impact study. So you can let us know if there's any problems with it for the tourism industry. That was the reasoning behind it. So in the law, we said, fine, GVB, you're concerned, you want an economic impact study, so we're going to legalize it, but before it can be sold anywhere, do the economic impact study. And by the time, this will be enough time for you to do the economic impact study. Now, I remember going to some of the board meetings. GVB, mind you, has a voting member on the Cannabis Control Board. So they have representation there. So now that they're sort of coming out of nowhere and saying, oh, wait a minute, it kind of sounds a bit suspect, because why weren't they voicing these concerns at the board level when they have a voting member on the board? So the only discussion I remember on the Cannabis Control Board was at one point, the Cannabis Control Board was reviewing the law, and they said, okay, before we can complete our rules and regulations, GVB, you need to do a study. Yeah. So they told the board member, hey, go back to GVB and let your bosses know you guys got to do a study. And the discussion, what the GVB member would bring back to the Cannabis Control Board is, we don't know what we're supposed to study. I remember these discussions because members of the board asked me, what is GVB supposed to study? And I said, GVB is the one who wanted to do a study in the first place. So, you know, I don't know what GVB wants to study. They're the ones who wanted to do the study in the first place. One of the concerns that they raised, GVB raised, their member raised at the board, at the Cannabis Control Board, where they said, how are we supposed to study something that hasn't been implemented yet? We don't know how to study the economic impacts of something that hasn't even been implemented on Guam yet, as far as sales. So they were kind of saying it's like the cart before the horse kind of thing. And they kept looking at me, and I said, again, I don't know. You guys are the ones who wanted to do the study. So we put it in the law. We said, fine, before we can do any rules and any sales, you guys will do the study you guys are asking for. So they eventually figured out how to do a study. They hired a company called Tourism Economics, I believe. It's paid for out of GVB. They procured it. I'm assuming they had an RFP out. I haven't looked for it, but I'm assuming they did an RFP, hired a company. Company did the study, and the study makes no mention of any loss of revenue. In fact, the study cites increases to revenue, increases to tourism. So, I mean, I don't know why now, and now GVB is coming out claiming that they've done another study that says it's going to be bad for tourism. But my understanding is that it's not an actual study. I haven't seen an actual study. I asked, I think Perez said on some media, I thought I read somewhere where he said that he sent the study to the legislature and to the Cannabis Control Board. Well, I checked with my colleagues and the legislature and the Cannabis Control Board. We haven't received any study. Right. So I don't know what study they're talking about. My understanding is they just kind of made a bunch of assumptions. I think they just guessed. They just said, okay, how much do you think we're going to lose? Oh, how about 50% of this market? Yeah, 50% sounds good. Yeah, put that down. So I don't think they've done any sort of scientific survey.
Wow. Yeah.
Scientific study.
Yeah, Jerry Perez was on our show, and he was talking about that sensitivity study that was conducted, saying what, over 500 million, I think, a loss in revenue if we were to do have marijuana in Tumon. But the other thing he also said was that economic impact study that you were referring to. He said, well, GVB paid for it. We weren't the ones who hired this company to do the study. It was the Cannabis Control Board. Can you clarify that?
Yeah, I'll have to double check on that. But if they did it that way, then I don't know why they did it that way. The law says that this is for GVB to do their economic impact study. That's the whole point. And the study itself says it's prepared for GVB. It doesn't say it's prepared for the Cannabis Control Board.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So where do you see all of this going? Because it doesn't seem like either side's going to let up.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I'm not sure. Some of the concerns they kind of said at first from some of the members of the business community was, they're concerned about the public consumption. Well, the law doesn't allow for public consumption. Then some of the other concerns they said, we don't want it out on the beaches or in the hotel rooms. Well, the law doesn't say that. I mean, it's up to you. If you own a hotel, you could put it in there, but actually you would have to get special permission. So even if you owned a hotel and you wanted to allow cannabis smoking in your hotel, you would have to go get a special permit to allow that from the Cannabis Control Board. And so unless anyone's applying for that kind of permit, it's not going to be permitted in any hotel. And, as hotel owners, if they don't want to allow it in their hotel, they just don't allow it. Just like smoking, just like anything, they make the rules. It's their private property. They set the rules for their private property. If you don't abide by their rules on their private property, you kick them out, So I don't know what the concerns are. Then I know that there's some talk about, they're concerned they don't want it to be, I've heard some talk, they just don't want it to be sold to tourists at all. And so, I mean, with that, I say, it's not our job to enforce other countries' laws. So, we worry about our laws, we enforce our laws, and that's all we should worry about.
Do you foresee any compromise or pulling these parties in and figuring this out?
I'm sure eventually something will be figured out. I don't know exactly what. I know that the board it's right now it's with the Cannabis Control Board, so they've been meeting a lot lately. I know that they've been discussing it. I know that they just had a meeting yesterday, as a matter of fact, and some of these issues were brought up again yesterday. So I think right now the board is just working on figuring out what to do. But I really think a lot of these concerns are being just driven by fear of something that they don't understand. So I think a lot of these businesses down in Tumon, it's just something new that they really don't understand. So they just, fear of the unknown. But at least I hope that's all that's driving it. I certainly hope there's nothing else behind it that's driving these concerns.
And so just if you could, in terms of firing up in Tumon, you can't do that at any of the beaches, the public spaces. You can't go walk down Tumon and smoke a joint, right?
Yep, that you cannot.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's still illegal to do it in public.
Okay.
So there is, I like to also point out too, some people are talking about what about restricting Tumon completely, like just say no cannabis businesses in Tumon, right? That's one of the things they've kind of brought up is just don't allow it in Tumon, any cannabis business. And I'm concerned with that because I don't think enough people realize that there are already a lot of restrictions on where a cannabis business can be placed. We put that into the law. Those were some amendments that were added into the law. So right now the law prohibits it from being 1,000 feet from any school, that's smart, but also 1,000 feet from any church, 1,000 feet from any daycare center, 1,000 feet from any public park. So even in Tumon, there wouldn't be a lot of places to even have it in Tumon because you've got Matapang Beach Park in sort of the middle of Tumon, and you've got Ipao Beach at the other end. And I know of those two parks, and then there's the church down in Tumon. So 1,000 feet in any direction from those places, and 1,000 feet is a lot farther than people realize. 1,000 feet is pretty far. So that already limits a lot of places. People say, well, why not just put it all down in Anigua? There's parks in Anigua. There's public parks in Anigua. There's the Haral Park. There's the Adaloop Park. The Haral Park is kind of where the old, kind of close to that LA Cycle Tire place is at. There's another park that's sort of right across the District Court of Guam. So just driving around there, it's very restricted. I don't know where a place would fit in Anigua either. And then people said, well, just put it in Agana somewhere. Well, in Agana, you've got the Agana pool and the tennis court area, which is a public park. You've got Skinner's Plaza, which is a public park. So you've got the church right there. So it's already very restrictive, and I'm concerned about restricting it anymore. We're just going to say, it's almost like we're saying don't have any businesses at all selling cannabis. And if that's the case, then we're not going to have a truly regulated industry, and then the black market will just continue to thrive.
All right, Senator, thank you so much for that update on your perspective on this whole debate. Appreciate your time. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, let me know if you have any other questions.
We'll do. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. And that was Senator Clint Rogel giving his thoughts on this whole debate with the Cannabis Control Board and GVB and stakeholders in Tumon who are expressing their outright concern about the possibility of marijuana being sold in Tumon. And actually,
yeah, sorry, I had some audio problems there at the beginning of that. I couldn't join in, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those issues there, the opponents are going to have their misinformation campaign and, lead you to believe that everyone in Tucson is going to be blowing marijuana, cannabis smoke in your face. And, there's going to be a cannabis shop in your school. And so, Senator's doing a great job, I think, of informing the people of the law and, the regulations that are in place. So, they'll figure it out. I mean, seems like a lot of stuff has kind of been dragging on this whole issue anyway.
Right. 1,000 feet from a church, 1,000 feet from public parks, and where else? From daycares. So there you go.
And when the senator said that, it was like, Andy lived in Tucson for a number of years. I lived in Tucson for like 11 years, and I constantly went around whether I was exploring on foot, just like driving around so I could know my neighborhood, right? So I went all over the strip, and everything in Tucson is so like tightly packed. 1,000 feet in any direction, there's not a whole lot of like space, like he said, and 1,000 feet is a lot longer than people think. That's a fifth of a mile.
Yeah. I think, it would have to be built in an existing building. Somebody would just have to rent a space and, make it there if it falls within that 1,000 so-and-so. So, yeah, there's a lot of considerations to be made. And, I, for one, I don't partake in cannabis. I don't think I ever will again. So it's not a big deal to me. But, for those that are huge proponents, I totally get it. I see that there could be some revenue there. And it's just, a matter of all these studies finding out. And, we never really know until it's there. They're set up on the market and people can start getting it. So, do all the studies in the world you want, but we still have no idea how Guam is going to, end up partaking.
But again, if you've been following this issue as we've been presenting it to you, by the proponents and opponents of it, Mark Baldiga, who came on and defended his side of it, he said he really worries, as the former chairman of GVB, about the perceived impacts and the actual impacts on tourism, because in Japan, if you're caught with, he was saying, if you're caught with trace amounts of cannabis on your system, like even on your person or in your system and everything like that, it's a criminal activity, right? It can be criminalized. You get in real deep trouble for that.
Was it Japan or Korea? I'm not sure. It was one of those places. I don't smoke weed. I may have partaken in the past, but I don't smoke weed. So
yeah,
I know somebody who does, who's not in this room though. So
yeah, and some of the opponents of it, I get what they're saying. When tourists come here, most times it's a family. You've got mom, dad, their kid or two kids, and you're not going to see them going into the local weed shop to hook up and, get the kids stocked up. But there are those that, when they travel, they want to party. They want to, relax on the beach with, a little cannabis. So I totally get both sides. But I think it's the extremists on either side that are kind of muddying the issue. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. And, Peter Santos actually did a story on the cannabis control meeting yesterday. Do you have that ready, Joe?
Yep.
All right. Here's his report.
The Guam Cannabis Control Board met today to get into the weeds of their proposed rules and regulations. Of the topics discussed, one in particular has been a point of controversy for both the board and for some in the community. The thought of the sale and use of marijuana in Tucson has drawn out tourism business veterans in opposition. But CCB board member Adrian Cruz says it would have been nice to hear the opposition a little earlier.
We've been 18 months on this. This is not new. I really wish that GVB or whoever would have been a little more involved or voiced a little more when we were even talking about these particular things way in the past.
Board member Nico Fujikawa sought to clear up an issue many in the tourism industry have been worried about, the idea of tourist families being exposed to marijuana by way of on-site consumption permits. But Cruz says the idea just isn't feasible.
If it's a cannabis restaurant and they're a licensed cannabis facility, you can't have a family that goes there, because by definition, the only people that can go into a cannabis facility, as per our rules, is people over the age of 21.
Should be 21.
That's right. So
right.
you're not going to be able to have Sunday brunch at the pot restaurant. I mean, that's not reality according to our own rules.
Cruz says the dilemma is all too familiar.
The thing that upsets me the most is I remember a conversation like this. I remember GVB saying something like this when it was the Natasha Protection Act. I remember them saying that, if you ban smoking in the restaurants, the tourists aren't going to come because Japanese like to smoke when they eat, and they like to smoke when they go out to bars, and it's just going to be so terrible. Gloom and doom, gloom and doom.
The current proposed rules prohibit the operation of a cannabis-related facility within 1,000 feet of a public park or school, amongst others. And with 2 large beach parks in Tumon, it turns out there's just a few pockets where businesses could be set up. And as far as the overall image of Guam to the tourist markets,
the market already tells us when Koreans come to Guam, they don't want to stay in the hotel. Because they go stay in the Airbnb and they don't go on the Japanese official tour routes where, they're only stopping at certain places. That's the way our market is trending. And so this idea that somehow, that the Japanese want to come here for a Japan flavored Guam that's thinking from 1970. That's just not holding water anymore.
the Cannabis Control Board recessed and will reconvene December 30th at 1 p.m. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Again, the Guam Cannabis Control Commission will be meeting again later this month to once again take on discussion and debate over the rules and regulations for cannabis use on Guam. And again, a couple of things, 10 o'clock, and we're actually going to cut out a little bit early from this program so we can prepare for that press conference that the Lieutenant Governor and John Fernandez, the Superintendent of Education, is going to be holding. They're going to be making some announcements regarding expanded internet access, as well as subsidies for that. 11 o'clock, Congressman Michael Nicholas will be holding a press conference to discuss and give details specifically related to Guam on the latest stimulus package. And then at 3 o'clock, you'll definitely want to follow the Guam Education Board meeting where, again, the superintendent should be making his announcement on what's going to be happening with face-to-face education. As we've heard in interviews with him in the past, the goal is to reopen schools in January. That's the plan, at least. But also at the same time, they'll still be offering the other models of learning for parents that are uncomfortable, that aren't sure they want to have their child return to face-to-face.
And you can put in all the safety precautions you want when you're dealing with a parent's child, their baby. There are parents that are just not going to be comfortable sending their kid back if they live with grandma, with grandpa, someone that's high risk. They don't even want to take that chance. So I totally get that. I totally get why people want their kids back in school, that face-to-face education. I get that too. So, it's just a matter of finding that fine line and for you deciding what's best for you and your family. And that's where we are. So giving people the option, I think, is a great thing.
Yeah, and it's no joke, this face-to-face learning, this distance learning situation. My son has been doing distance learning since, when school cut out, right? In March, right? They've been out of school since March. And, there was the option at the beginning of the school year, whether or not, you wanted to send your child to face-to-face. And at that time, the cases were starting to, pick up, and I was not comfortable at all at sending my child back to school for face-to-face learning. Now, with the CAR score, maybe I might be more inclined to do it. It really is a choice that each parent that has a child that goes to school will have to make.
And, one thing is that for some parents that really want the face-to-face learning, their kid to get back to that, it's because of their scheduling. Like, hey, my kid's home all day. I've got to go to work. There's no one there to watch my child, my children. So, they kind of rely on school being that thing for the kid to go and learn, and that they're safe. So a lot of parents really need that just for their lifestyle with work and everything. So there's a lot of considerations to take into, and again, it just boils down to your personal choice, what you feel is best for you and your family.
Right, and it was a hard time trying to get used to this whole distance learning, but not just for parents. I got to say, even for the teachers, because I know, and Joe, sir, and they would email and send messages on all hours of the night. So I know they were working, and I'm sure that a lot of these teachers have children too. So I can't.
Yeah, and when I was doing the Touch of Class segment on the news, talking to these teachers, you got to shout it out to them, because the amount of pride they take in what they do, and the trust that we put in them to take care of our kids. It's amazing that they really do go above and beyond. And it's been super hard on them. Teachers that have been doing it for 25, 30 years to have to instantly, completely change the way you teach and, learn a new technology. It's been tough for them, man. So props to all the teachers, all the educators out there that had to completely redo their way of thinking to help these kids and make sure they get the education they need. So yeah, it's pretty eye-opening.
Right. Again, that announcement we are anticipating at 3:00 when the Guam Education Board convenes their meeting. And a couple other things, Joint Information Center, I'm just going to go through some of the headlines. The Joint Information Center last night confirmed Guam's 120th COVID-19 related fatality. The patient was an 80-year-old man with underlying conditions. He was admitted to GMH on November 11th, tested positive the same day. He passed away on the 20th. Also last night, the JIC reported 9 out of 597 tests performed tested positive for COVID-19. Our current COVID case count is now 7,211 people that have been infected with the virus since March. We have 431 active cases and more than 6,600 recoveries. 25 people hospitalized at GMH and GRMC, 7 under ICU care, and 5 are on ventilator support. Our choir score is now 1.2. Also, the Joint Information Center announced last night that it started at 9 o'clock this morning until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Public Health is continuing its Phase 1A vaccinations at Ukudu High School. The following individuals not affiliated with GMH or GRMC are encouraged to get vaccinated. They include physicians, pharmacists, dentists, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, registered and other nurses, paramedics, emergency medical or laboratory technicians, as well as ambulance and emergency medical workers. Public Health also received confirmation from Pfizer that concerns over a shipment of vaccines that arrived over the weekend is cleared for use. We reported that one of the 2 packages that arrived on Saturday didn't have the proper green color on the GPS-enabled thermal sensor to signal that the package was in acceptable condition. Again, Public Health was informed that Pfizer retrieved and reviewed the data from that GPS and determined that they were still viable to use. So to date, Public Health has received a total of 11,700 doses of the Pfizer vaccine, completing its allocation for the month of December. The 11,700 doses will fully immunize 5,850 people. Also, Moderna, there is still no word yet when the Moderna vaccine will arrive to Guam. We got to get that information from Public Health. I know the Lieutenant Governor was saying it could be really soon. So those are some of the things that we're working on for today.
One of the things that I'm actually kind of keenly interested in is seeing what happens with GDOE and a possible, again, we don't know at this point. John Fernandez came on last Wednesday and he told us, by the time I come on for my weekly visit with you guys, we'll know by then. So even he was anticipating, they'll have a hard answer, whether yay or nay today about a return to face-to-face learning, is, guys, what the impact is going to be as far as either the direct opening of other ancillary services. Like, I mean, you think the businesses are going crazy right now about not being able to be open. We had that story about, the bars, wanting to open and everything like that. Can you imagine if they say, okay, and now all of the public school kids are back in class and we still can't open? They are going to lose their minds. What impact will this possibly have on the private schools who have been lobbying for that kind of thing? And they've even said, we're not trying to push the governor or pressure her, but we're just saying, we would like to return. Now's not the time, but when it is time, we would like you to, give us the absolute green light. Probably foremost among them was Harvest, who actually wrote that that long letter that they published about, why it's important to return to face-to-face learning. And Jeremy Zaitchik, the administrator there, was saying, we're doing what we can to educate our kids, but the bottom line is it's not the same, and we're doing a disservice, by not providing, that optimal educational experience. So, at least for me, what I'm really going to be interested in when I watch this thing, when we stream it at 3, is how are all of these little other, I don't want to say special interest groups, but like pockets of the community and everything, how are they going to react as far as, okay, well, is it okay for us to open now, or if not, when will it be, and how much pressure are they going to exert?
Yeah. All I know is that this whole thing has really taught me that I am not smarter than a 5th grader, for sure. I can't remember some of the stuff that my son is learning, and I'm like, just read it, Google it.
Your boy is practically doing physics at this point. He's even asked me. I was like,
has really exposed a lot of deficiencies in all of us, but I choose not to focus on those things.
Seriously, the stuff that your kid, Bree, Brock's asked me, he's like, hey, Uncle Jace, look what I'm doing. And I swear, I think some of the stuff that he's working on right now as a 5th grader, I think I got in 11th grade at Sanchez. Yep. I mean, it's amazing how advanced these kids are.
Yeah, like he has like coding projects and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah, he's got this really cool thing. I mean, I'm a computer scientist, right? I've been doing this stuff for like 27 years, and like I was like looking at him, like it's this really neat thing where you drag and drop these, characters on a baseball. Andy, you'd really like it because like drag and drop these characters on the backdrop is like a baseball diamond, right? And then you make them perform certain actions and say run from first base to second base. And I was like, that's basic logic programming right there. And I was like, man, by the time he gets 8th grade, he's going to know about more programming than I do.
Well, times change. I mean, I think it was 7th or 8th grade, I took a typewriting class. So, times change.
For sure.
Oh, and that is the thing too. It's like, look at even just like social media, right? Not a formal pedagogical, educational framework, right? It's just everybody carrying around like a camera and doing stuff. I remember when I started KUM, we had a very rigid process for even considering people that wanted to work like as an editor or as a news videographer, right? Nowadays, I mean, kids come in, they've got an entire portfolio of knowing how to shoot, how to frame, about composition, about editing, about visual storytelling. We never had that. And kids right now, they take it for granted, but I mean, these kids are super sharp right out of the gate.
Yeah. Well, even if you look back a little bit further, with MySpace, how many people learned how to kind of do basic code by setting up their MySpace page?
True.
What was your thing, Vic? Were you on Friendster or FriendFeed?
I was MySpace for a while, and then there was this Bebo or something.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm old school. I went like
and then Facebook, and
Angel Fire, GeoCities, and even back then, the only thing you could really do was take a look at the code and just really read it. And it's not like it is today, where side rant, where if you wanted to learn how to be a good coder, it would be years and years of learning the self-discipline and all of the mechanics of how like computer programs work. These days, I mean, you can go for almost for free to a boot camp, and in 2 weeks, you'll be rock solid. I mean, you will be ready to go, and that's great.
All right, guys.
It's crazy though. Sorry, it's crazy. It's a big decision, like you said. This sitting here and listening to you guys, especially Bree and Joe Sir, being parents, Jason, you nephews, and it's such it's gonna come down to a big decision from the board members and John Fernandez and it's really, and then the other part from what I see is really up to our students too, to trust them. That if the decision comes down to letting them back to school, that they do their part. And I think them living through this whole 2020, I think we could also trust them that when they go out there, they know for sure to social distance, put their mask on, wash their hands, and all that. And I think they've got all that down to a system where they'll get used to it. If they go back to school, they know exactly what to do to prevent themselves.
I love how you brought that up, Vic, because one thing I've been thinking of, like as a marketing major, right, is, everybody keeps saying, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. I want to forget 2020. Everybody keeps saying, forget 2020, forget 2020. I would actually hope that there would be some sort of advertising campaign for young people, specifically for students, that would basically say, remember 2020, because kids, remember how bad it sucked when you couldn't go out. Remember how bad it sucked when you couldn't see, your friends. Remember how bad it sucked when you couldn't just have the freedom to go out and hang out. And that's what keeps you from making the mistakes that'll ever get us back to that point again.
Amen.
That's what I would hope for.
All right, guys. Another great show. Good job, everybody.
Books. 3 days away from Christmas?
Yeah, good questions for Teresa, by the way.
No,
Vic. Thank you for taking charge.
No, because I was about to get into the zone, but I'm like, oh no, wait, they got it. They got the questions. I'm like, okay, I think I'm running out of questions to ask. I'm like, we good. And then,
okay.
And then we had the LT on, so I was like, oh, we good. You guys got it.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so we've been talking up these press conferences so much. Bev Tess, Jay Salas, who's been with us as they always are from the very beginning of the show, saying what are the times for the GDOE and Congressman live streams? We're going to carry all three of them. So Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio's press conference is coming up at 10, and that's why we're cutting out a little bit early
with
so we
John
can
Fernandez.
set up for that. And he's expected to announce.
This is where they're going to be talking about the expanded internet access,
services.
right, for public, private, and charter schools.
Yeah, you guys totally want to pay attention to that, because that one's really going to be interesting. Then at 11 o'clock, the delegate to Congressman Mike Nicholas has said he's going to be talking about relief efforts and what we do to
COVID.
about coronavirus relief. So that's coming up at 11, and then at 3 o'clock, and it's all going to be on our Facebook page, so just stay with us. Then at 3 o'clock, we're going to have the GDOE one. So 10.
The Guam Education Board, yeah.
Education Board, pardon me. 10, 11, and 3.
Yep. All that happening. Facebook. Be there.
And hopefully
Don't miss out.
In the middle of this, we're going to get some lunch? Question mark?
Hopefully.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Right. All right, everybody.
Well,
thank
since
you.
Andy was talking about vegetables so much, maybe Andy can make us a real good salad or something like that.
Some tofu.
Yeah, don't forget that
All right,
is
Jason,
happening
no
tomorrow.
social contact. Oh, man. Oh.
Oh, darn. Oh yeah, well yeah. Let me go ahead and take those Christmas packages that you got here in the office and just use it for a
All right, guys. Great show today.
Great
Have
show.
a good one. We'll be back at it tomorrow.
Vic.
All right, let's get to it. Closing out the show here, we always do it with Joe Guam and the awesome segment Holiday Cheer, being brought to you by Guam Windward Memorial. Until tomorrow, guys, thank you. Let's take it. Oh yeah, we got it. We got the spirit.
Or as Sabrina says, shake your caracas, which makes no sense.
All right.
I know what you can shake.
And I think that's the cue. We're out. You guys have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Half a Day Holiday Cheer is brought to you by Guam Windward Memorial.
January, February, March, and April. Would you stop the calendar if you were able? 'Cause I would. Once upon a time we got along so well. Take away the mistletoe and jingle bells, so you keep your love away from me. Let's pretend it's Christmas time again. I can't miss us if you're mine again. Oh, let's find the holidays, and baby, you will always be my girl. May goes by along with June, July, and August. Time could fly away, but baby, let's be honest. Should we let it? September's gone, I can't move on with someone new. And I might be wrong, but I highly doubt that you can too. So you keep your love away from me. Let's pretend it's Christmas time again. I can't miss us if you're mine again. Oh, let's find the holidays, and baby, you will always be my girl. You'll shop department stores, I'll check the football scores. We'll meet up when it's time to go. Then as the daylight fades, we'll catch the light parade, and I'll tell Santa that my baby wants to see it snow. It's Christmas time again. I can't miss us if you're mine again. Oh, let's find the holidays, and baby, you will always be my girl. January, February, March, and April. Would you stop the calendar if you were able? 'Cause I would. Once upon a time we got along so well. Take away the mistletoe and jingle bells, so you keep your love away from me. Let's pretend it's Christmas time again. I can't miss us if you're mine again. Oh, let's find the holidays, and baby, you will always be my girl.